Crackers online. Fighting ground. Street Fighter 6.
We good? We saved, chat? Yeah.
Fighting ground. Practice. Versus. Practice. Versus. Special. Online. Ranked match. Online special match.
Okay, hold on.
Versus practice. Training. Pow Pow Cafe 6.
ヨガの導きのまま
退屈させんじゃねえぞ。
Okay, so 6, 3, 2, 1, 4. HK leaves me 40 plus 42, so I can teleport. Hey, what the hell? Oh. It's like that move. If I land that, I can teleport behind them. I think is what it's saying, right, chat? So when I do that, I can get some setup, I guess. That's my combo ender. Any combo ending with 6, 3, 2, 1 heavy kick will whiff. If the opponent was crouching as you started the combo, unless you move to force stand like 4 MP. Combo ending. It's So wait, if they're hit stunned, this is kind of advanced, I think. If they're hit stunned, okay. And they were crouched. Do I need to stop the combo a little bit to get them to be standing or something? Okay, I see what it means. I see. I get it, okay. I was reading this. Any combo ending with 6-3-2-1 heavy kick will whiff if the opponent was crouching as you started the combo, unless you move to force stand like 4 MP. So I was wondering why that didn't connect sometimes, that move. And it's because they're crouching and you need a force stand with 4 MP. Knowledge check. That's what I was wondering, though. That's what I was asking.
job. It's what you're born to do.
Wait, new video chat, new video. Oh my god. Oh.
The GOAT, the greatest resume that we have ever seen. The only two-time Capcom Cup champion, three-time EVO champion, Mena RD!
So have to think about it. There it is! Mena RD has accomplished what he wanted to accomplish.
Back-to-back EVO Japan Street Fighter 6 champion!
Probably thinking that finally gonna do it, and I'm gonna stop that from happening because I don't care if I lose. I don't care if I lose this Evo. I've won them before.
Oh wait, hold on, my bad.
And I was playing multiple first attempts with the best Pumas in the world. That entire month, I didn't lose a single set. And then finally getting to play Kimono Michi and realizing that Daigo was stronger than all of them.
Damn.
Down here, the target combo, he hits it! Mena RD defeats Daigo at Kimono Michi, solidifying his
Daigo was stronger than all of them. Damn.
That's the peak of love I felt for the game. It doesn't happen anymore.
Mena RD, no end in sight!
We're back today with a very special episode of Trash Talk because we have our first ever returning guest to the show. And it's only fitting that it's none other than the Bull, the reigning champion, Mena RD, live from Japan, back on Trash Talk. Mena, how you doing, my man?
Doing good. Excited to be back. Last time it was a crazy conversation, and I always enjoy talking to you. So glad to be back, and I hope the guys enjoy it too.
Of course. Yeah, that was a great episode. We went a little long last time. This time, we'll try to keep a bit more focused, but it's very interesting because back then, we last spoke on Trash Talk in December of 2024, which was a year and 7 months ago. And at the time, you're already a very accomplished Street Fighter player. The only two-time Capcom Cup champion. You had the EVO Japan 2024 title, and many other accomplishments under your belt. And in that time, since then, I'm going to go ahead and rattle these off now. You have won EVO Japan 2025, making you the first person to win back-to-back EVO Japan titles. You won EVO Vegas 2025. You won Street Fighter League Pro US for the second time. You became the first person to ever beat Daigo in a Kimono Michi style first to 10.
Yeah, that was
moved
crazy.
to Japan and announced that you're going to be joining Zeta Division for Street Fighter League this season. And then you won EVO Vegas 2026, making you the first person since Daigo Omihara in 2009 and 2010 to win back-to-back EVO Vegas titles. So my question to you is, what's your problem, man? Like what's your problem? What are you doing over here? Can you let someone else win?
Honestly, no, man. I always tweet about it and say it like, I wanna make history, and there's a lot of history to be made, and I feel like people have this. Oh, this is enough for one player. Like this is enough to have you in X conversation. This is enough for this or for that. But I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this for X conversation. I'm not doing this to be part of any discussion. It's more of a. There's a lot of tournaments to win, and even when you go to the tournament, you're like, you know what? I'm not even feeling this because I went to Evo this year, and I was like, what's the narrative? Like, why should I win this? As soon as I arrived in Vegas and I saw every player there with their little, pro shirts and the practice setups and all that, I was like, oh, they think they're better than me. Like, I get into that, I don't know. I turn into a psycho. I'm like, I need to prove that I'm better, and it just, I don't know, like Homelander. I just lose it, man.
Wow, there can only be one. Okay, I see. Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up. Like, what's the narrative? Because you've been
I can see that in
so
his play style for sure.
accomplished in this time beyond what people even at some point even consider possible in this title, which I definitely want to get your perspective on at some point. But before we get into the details of your recent accomplishments, let's take it back for a second now, because you are currently doing this interview from Japan, which is a historic moment, I think, for the career of a professional player. But since your time, visiting Japan, coming for frequent training sessions, and now residing there for the upcoming Street Fighter League season, I gotta ask, what's the best thing you've eaten so far? We've been seeing the posts. The food in Japan is amazing. What's the best thing you've had so far in Japan? Can you name one thing?
No, name one thing. That's an impossible task. There's so many great foods in Japan, and they're attached to experiences. Like, people take me here, and this is their favorite dish, or in this city there's this dish, and I want to try that. So I feel like, I don't know, I love so many, but to me the go-to is the yakiniku, the usual Japanese barbecue. I really love it. I feel like the quality of the meat here is world famous. The wagyu, and it being more accessible because it's from here. It's something that you definitely got to take advantage of. So to me, it's like, it's incredible how cheap it is, and how good it is, what you're getting. But I definitely enjoy a lot of the local, Japanese dishes. Like, a lot of people don't eat eel. I love the eel dishes here, the onagi and the ramen. A lot of people see like, oh, it's just soup. How good can it be? I try all kinds of ramen, sushi. In Japan is different too, so it's
I like
like,
you.
I don't know. I love the dishes here, but the go-to after tournament to celebrate, it's definitely yakiniku.
And yakiniku, is that the just the barbecue in general, right? Because
Yeah, the Japanese barbecue.
okay, my favorite dish in Japan was the eel you mentioned before. I had
Sounds
the
good.
barbecue eel that they have in the steamed basket, delicious. And the best ramen I had was from a random stall that we stopped at after a long day of shopping, and it had the vending machine outside, and we were just hungry and just said, "This looks okay, whatever." Put some coins in there, turn the handle, and it was the greatest meal of ramen I've ever had in my entire life. And those are just everywhere in Japan. So I'm
That's
uh,
normal. That's normal here.
yeah.
A lot of things I've randomly just eaten, like, they really shocked me. Like, how can this be so good if there's no line, there's nobody here, like, this place, nobody cares about it. How is this place so good? If this was in my country, this will be, you couldn't even get in. People will be
Mm.
crazy all over this. But I don't know, it's the magic of this place. I think Japan has a lot of great things, and that's definitely one that the food here and the quality of basically any restaurant you go to, it's really good.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a brief pause in the conversation to thank you. You guys loved our partnership with the Okazeme Coffee Company, a by the FGC for the FGC coffee brand. And because of that support, they've decided to sign us on here at Trash Talk for another season. Okazeme Coffee Company provides high-quality custom coffee blends shipped right to your doorstep. While I personally love their heavy attack roast, lately I've been favoring the medium attack blend for a bit more of a balanced flavor profile. Whether you opt for pulling your own espresso shots, stop to take a breath with a morning pour over, or use a good old-fashioned drip coffee maker like me, Okazeme Coffee has all of your needs covered. So to improve your wake-up options with Okazeme Coffee, you can head on over to okazeme.coffee and use discount code BrianF for 15% off your next order. Okay, that's all. Now back to the show. Yeah, of course. Safe to say I'm extremely jealous that you're over there eating all the good food. But your relationship with Japan has been building for quite some time now. And, you already won EVA Japan 2024. I'm curious, going into EVA Japan 2025, where, you made history by winning the event back-to-back. This was like a barrier-breaking moment for the game of Street Fighter. So can you talk through a little bit about what that run meant to you and what that result meant to you? Because it was something that had never been achieved before, and many people were still at the time debating, like, how can someone be consistent in the world of Street Fighter 6?
So to me, a lot of as I said, the narrative before, and a lot of the things, that the meaning of the tournament, I let people decide for them and I let the community decide what does it mean and what record is it breaking, what are people taking away from that tournament. I feel like it's something deeply personal from each competitor and from the people that see the experience. But for me, like in my mind, all I had was I was coming off the 2024 season where I had a big character crisis and I was playing like 4 characters. And then I had this Red Bull exhibition. I don't know if you remember the Reject Fight Night X Sage and Slam event. Red Bull asked me like, can you stay one more week and play that? And I said, you know what? I'll stay because I was salty that I lost Capcom Cup. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna have fun and play Blanca. This is the character I'm having the most fun with. I'm not counter picking. I'm not doing anything. And I had a match with Gachikun and one with Bonchan, and I won. And I said, oh, that felt pretty good. Then we had Rebel Kumite in Paris, and I said, I'm gonna focus more on Bison this tournament. I'm just gonna play Bison and see how far I can go. And I remember that instantly the first match I broke my rule. I played Blanca against Nyampi. But then I played Noah and I went Bison and I won the set. Then I was playing Big Bird and I was winning with Bison. And then I switched to Blanca and lost with the. I wasn't decisive, right? And I got 3rd place. I said, okay, Evo Japan, I'm just gonna have fun. Like this is, I'm done. I'm done overthinking counter picks. I'm done with all of this. I'm just gonna play Blanca. I don't care what happens, you know? Because I just want to get rid of this character crisis thing. And then also during those days, I was heavy on the mentality of, you know, my individual self and how to improve as a person overall, how to improve my mentality, getting over fears and all of that. Like all of those days in Evo Japan was like such a big moment for my mentality. And that combination of I just want to have fun with the game and play the character I'm enjoying, and that need of I need to be better as a human and improve and let go of my fears and let go of my old habits. That combination, I think that led to an amazing performance in that tournament and I was able to win. So even though a lot of people was like making their own connection with my history with Japan or what it meant at that moment in my competitive career, in my mind I was busy with just a completely random narrative that I made up during that weekend. And that's what was happening. I was like, I need to prove that I can do it with this character. And yeah, so usually that's what's happening. Like I'm in my own world, finding a reason to win all the time.
Interesting. I feel like that has to be a healthy mindset to approach it with because, you know, once you've reached such a status, the narrative around your competitive success, it's like you're at the peak. The only way to go is to maintain it or fall off, right? And that's a lot of noise to deal with. So I can kind of imagine being in that position, just creating your own narrative, your own personal circles to go through. It's actually maybe more productive than allowing the outside noise to come in where you have no control. You have no control of what people say, of how they view you, and you're focused more on your own personal growth through that journey.
Yeah, and not only that, because it's not only like random fans or the, you know, what my fans are saying or what the haters are saying. It's also, I'm a fan of all these players. I'm a fan of tournaments, and I love the narratives and the stories that like, I've seen them grow. I've seen them come out. And a lot of these players now that I have, for example, the Bandits Gaming Agency, a lot of these players, I'm rooting for them. I want them to do good. So if I focus on what's a better story, you know, what will be more beautiful to see? Mena winning his 4th Evo, which, you know, we're tired of seeing that, or for example, Kills You winning his first Evo, you know, in Europe winning the first. Like, I can find better reasons for other people to win than my own selfish reasons, you know. But I have to forget about that. I have to forget about what looks better for the tournament, what looks better, what will the people enjoy more. It has to be, why do I need to win today? If I don't win today, this is the end of my career. Like I have to think like that, you know.
Wow.
But yeah, like in the middle of Evo, if I start thinking about that, man, Kills You is 2 matches away, and even if he beats me now, probably qualifies. To
It's good to think like that. That's good.
Interesting. So it sounds to me, you know, leading up to your first big championship, there's a bit more of that anticipation. Like I'm on the precipice of achieving something I've dreamed of.
You gotta have that
You've won those
competitive
events.
drive.
You've been to that.
You gotta keep it up.
So that anticipation, something you're
That
trying
all
to
keeps it
gone,
up, you know.
You have to understand. You empathize with that anticipation for your peers around you, but you have to be brutal in your approach. You have to put that aside because you've already satisfied that need within yourself, but you have to stay hungry because it's your career, it's your job, it's what you're born to do. You must end their run because it must be this way.
Striving to improve too.
Mercy killing. I don't know. It sounds
Self-improvement,
almost
you know.
prophetic in a way, right?
Not really. Because that's the main thing. As a person, like when we're talking about it right now, that's how I see it. Because like I'm a fan of this guy. I want him to do good, and it's gonna be tough to beat him. Not really. When I'm competing, I use it against them. Like you're probably thinking about that. You're probably thinking that you're gonna win first Evo. You're probably thinking that finally gonna do it, and I'm gonna stop that from happening because I don't care if I lose. I don't care if I lose this Evo. I've won them before. And that's exactly why I'm gonna win this one too. So like when I'm competing, I'm honestly I'm an asshole. Like, I don't care. It's a selfish kind of competition. And I also find that that's what my opponents want to feel. They don't want to sit down and have coffee with me, like, you know, Saul, and have a great time. In competition, what they're gonna remember is how much of an asshole, how good was this player, how terrible was it competing against them. That's what people are gonna remember. Like, this guy gave me the toughest time of my life, and I feel like even now, Evo, the same example with Kills You. This time, we're super good friends in real life, and I was like, I'm not even gonna attempt the stare down because I don't want him to feel any kind of way. This is not someone that I know only from competition. We hang out all the time, and he was the one that told me I want to do it. He was like, you know what, I want to feel it, and I said, oh, okay, and I locked in. I said, you know what, let's go. So I want my opponents to remember that, you know, how tough the competition was against me, and yeah.
Mena RD the Terrible. I can feel like a new nickname coming on, right? Like when people look back, when your peers look back, it's Mena RD the Terrible. That's funny you mentioned the stare down because you had a stare down Kills You, and this is, you know, the most recent Evo, and historically, statistically, every single player that's on a stare down with Mena RD has, you know, come to regret that day. You've won 100% of the stare down sets, like the most notable ones that have been on the big stages against players like Tokido, Punk, Kills You now, and Kakarot, of course. And usually it ends up in an almost one-sided victory most of the time. And that Kills You set was another stat point for that because that was a beatdown, to be quite honest. You seemed unbelievably prepared for that matchup. So what is your mentality with these most iconic stare downs that have occurred? I know at the time you'd already had one with Tokido. Since then, we last spoke, I think it was Punk and Kills You. Do they usually occur organically? Are you approaching about that? What's your thought process when a stare down occurs, and how are you going to bring that into the match after?
There's a little mind game with the stare down, and it doesn't have to do with intimidation at all because all of these guys, they're my friends. Like the only one of them where I wasn't really where we weren't friends, like outside of the game and hanging out and all that, was Kakarot. But there's a bunch of respect. It was just because of the language, right? And the first time against Kakarot, I just felt like I had to do it to a strong opponent, like I did it with Tokido. And then the second time he did it by himself, he was like, oh, I need to get my get back. I was like, okay, let's do it. But I think there's an effect where it's like, even though they know this is not like a physical confrontation and nothing's gonna happen, they can see my emotional reaction and they're looking at my eyes and they see that it's real. When I get into it, I'm not acting. But then when you get to the game, it's like, wasn't he just angry right now? Why is he waiting to whiff punish? Why is he sitting down? Why is he not coming at me? And then sometimes I'll switch and really come in at them, and they'll be like, this guy is angry. So I don't know if he's just holding off on the anger, I should time him out, or if this is just, So it makes the balance in the game feels off because I'm giving you context of my emotions right before the match. So it's like, there's no way he's gonna time me out. He's gonna come, and then I'm not coming. I'm not going into them. Or there's no way that he's gonna stop when he's all rushed down right now, and then I'll stop. Or this is mana. He is gonna stop. He is not gonna disrespect me like this, and I keep going. It feels like the balance is just stronger when you have emotional context. If I see you slamming your controller in the middle of a set, oh my god, and you drop the combo, and I see you salty, and then you're timing me out, and you're playing super patient. You're playing. It's like this is weird, So I feel like that's mainly the effect. It makes my balance stronger, but outside of that, I just feel like also my own mentality. I just get more confident. Like there's no way I can lose this now.
Is there any part of you that feels inclined to engage in that for the showmanship aspect, for the fans, for like the sport of Street Fighter? Is that part of the allure of the stare down for you?
Honestly, for me, it's something that it's just for entertainment, right? And it's not something that I'm looking to do anymore, like all the time. Like, oh, I'll just do this. I need to win this set. It's more of a with Tokido. I felt like there was a lot of history going into it. With Kakeru, the same thing, a big rivalry. And then the second time he did it by himself, he wanted to do it. And then with Punk now at Blink, it's the same. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of context. So just as you see like in Third Strike on old fighting games, where you get a special intro, because it's rival characters, right? People want to see that and get hyped up, and it works every time. Every time I do it, people get hyped up. Like, oh my god, they're finally fighting, and look at this. The only one that was a little bit like, where's this coming from? Is the KOC one, but it gets me to do it. And I feel like he earned it. Like Evo Grand Finals, we're doing so good, then I'll do it for sure. There's a lot of respect. But I feel like I have to start. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because Prime, he didn't make it to Evo Grand Finals, but he told me if I make it to Grand Finals, I'm gonna do it. So I'm like, bro, what am I gonna start? What am I gonna do now? They're gonna have to sign a form. Like, what's the requirement?
Interesting. I almost feel like the next level would be to deny the stare down. You haven't even earned the stare down. To counter it, I don't know. You might have to come up with a new gimmick. If people keep coming to stare down for you and they haven't earned it yet, there needs to be an evolution there. I'd love to see it keep going. But you mentioned also the Punk stare down Blink respawn. Talk about context. That one got me hype as well because it felt like Punk was behind enemy lines a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, there's been some historical beef with yourself and Punk. I don't know, you guys have made up on personal terms, but there's also some conflict and tension between Punk and fans from the Dominican Republic. There's been some publicly shared words that were a little harsh on all sides, including on Punk's, right? And there's been back and forth that's occurred over the years. And this is like two giants of the game going at it. Punk shows up in your home turf, and he's doing well. But this time, you guys are both meeting in loser's bracket for that stare down. So can you walk me through a little bit about how that one came to be and like how you felt about it and maybe the reactions to it? Because that one got me personally excited because I'm very in tune with all the context leading up to that one.
Yeah, Punk and I, we definitely have squashed that beef, and it's like even though we already squashed it, and then we can do anything in our personal life because we've been friends for a long time. In competition, there's a little bit there where it's like I don't want to lose to this guy because it means more. If I lose to Punk, it means more. If he loses to me, it means more. So we're gonna try extra hard. But there's not really like a personal beef at all. So when we were at Blink first, there was like the introductions that we always do. Oh, this player is coming out, Punk, and Noah, all these the entrants. And I told him, like, are you ready? Because I thought as soon as he came out, there was gonna be a rain of boos. I was like, and I think it was on character. This is a CM Punk fan, right? I was like, he's gonna love it too. But not really. People were like very cheerful and everything was good. But I told him, like, I think we gotta do it. I think we gotta do it. And he said, yeah, I think we should. So we got into it, and the energy was crazy. I felt it from him too. The energy was definitely there. Where it was like, I gotta beat you right now, and it was super crazy. So to me, it got the people into it right away. They started screaming, and in Spanish, people were like, oh, you gotta kill this guy. And like people were really like, it was a real fight, and I was like, oh man, I really like this energy. I felt like it was very enjoyable, and the stare down only enhanced it. So I feel like that's the purpose of this little thing. It's basically to enhance the show and make people get more into it.
Absolutely, and I do want to give props to Punk actually for playing the heel role in that pretty well. I think sometimes I sit on the sidelines and I see interactions on social media, and some things go wrong. I think sometimes things cross too personal, and it leaves the fun territory and can sometimes veer a little too personal, in my opinion. But I love that tournament. I love that stare down. It felt like a fun way to lead into that little bit of heel energy. You're behind enemy lines, live up to it, play the villain for a bit, and put on a good show for the people, for them to have fun, win or lose. So I want to give props to Punk for that, and yourself as well for putting on that show. But I do want to bring this also back to your first Evo Vegas, because you already mentioned earlier, I won Evos, right? I've been here before. I'm sorry, I must end your run because it's the way the world must be. But I'm curious what your thoughts were going into this Evo Vegas, to the top 8, fighting Kakeru and stare down. Did you still have that feeling of anticipation for Evo Vegas, or is it already done after 2 Evo Japans?
No, I definitely had it. There's some things, there's some special events where it's like, I have to win this tournament, and you see it in the reaction. Like the last year when I won Evo Vegas, the reaction was different. The reaction was a little bit like feeling myself, and then getting up, and then you just felt like I finally won this thing, And that's the first thing I said when they had me. Like, finally, like this is the tournament that I grew up watching for fighting games, and finally winning it meant so much to me. And then the second one, it also means a lot, but it's for different reasons. It's no longer about the historical context. It's no longer about all the history. It's about what we had to do to win this tournament. All the hard work that we put on, all the practice, all the people that were there. That's what it meant. But the first one was all those pent up years of not winning Evo, especially after 2023.
Right.
I think getting second at Evo has to be one of the most hurtful experiences that a Street Fighter player can have. Where it's like, I'm supposed to be feeling good, but it's super bittersweet. I made it to second at Evo, but am I ever gonna get the chance, to close it out? It's really crazy. So when I got the chance again, I had to make sure that it didn't happen again. I have to win this Evo now.
Of course, yeah. I was wondering if that perception was still there because the landscape of Evo is changing so much. Evo Japan has far outclassed Evo Vegas in terms of entrance. Evo is expanding to be featured in, I believe, 9 different locations starting 2027. It's growing in scale, and it's changing, right? Like, whether people want to be upfront about it, I do think there's a different conversation that will happen of what it means to win an Evo. And so I was curious, because considering even the Evo Japans that you won, they're in what is probably the most, or I think definitely the most competitive region on the planet for Street Fighter, has more entrants, and is maybe only lacking in prestige from a Western audience perspective, because we grew up here in the West with the original Evo Vegas. So at that time in 2025, did you still feel like Evo Vegas was the one, or was it more just, I wanted to win this because I got close before? Or is there any kind of part of you that is shifting that perspective over time as the scene changes?
To me, it feels like Evo Japan and Evo Vegas are different. To me, there's only one Evo. It's Evo Vegas, right? That's Evo. Evo Japan, even though to me, it's also an Evo. Like, I'm never going to take away you're an Evo champion from an Evo Japan winner. I feel like you're winning an even harder tournament to deserve the title. But I feel like Evo Japan, with the last name, it's a different thing, you know? Like, you can see it as something more positive, you can see it as something negative, because it has less history than the old Evo, but winning Evo Japan has this weight of you won in Japan, the hardest region, as you said. So it's, to me, it's harder than the Evo Vegas itself. But winning Evo Vegas feels like you're joining an old legacy of champions, and that's where, you know. So to me, it felt different. It definitely was like, I have to win Evo. I have to be the first Dominican champion to win Street Fighter, and it definitely felt like super, super special. I even feel like the first Latin American champion of the Street Fighter at Evo. Like, I just felt like I had to do it and be part of history in that sense. But to me, Evo Japan, even though it's an Evo, the feeling is a little bit different, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, you bring up a great point about that shared legacy of past champions. But Evo Vegas has a last name these days too, right? Part of me is in pain every time I say Evo Vegas, but I have to specify these days, right? It's a changing era, and it'll be even more required that we specify what we're talking about as time goes on. So those conversations will definitely shift in time. But I have to say, I feel like you've made it in that era where it's easier to draw those ties. I think it'll get more and more difficult as time goes on to draw that through line. But you know, you're still in the era of the original 2 Evos, and it'll be much easier to draw those connections. But I have to wonder for future champions, like, will those connections still be there as the scene is changing as time goes on?
Yeah, you know, us as players, I know why it hurts to you too, because you're also a competitive player. Even though people, you know, getting used to funny right now on YouTube. Like, I remember how it was competing against you. As a player, it's like, we don't want to lose one of the main staples of defining who's the best in the world, and it feels like we are in a sense. Even this year, it felt like it's Evo, barely. You know, like it was barely Evo in the sense of deciding who's the best in the world in Street Fighter, because even though it might be the second hardest tournament of the year, there were so many players missing, and it was like, man, what if this guy had won? You know, what if the birds were there? What if? So I don't know. It felt like it was Evo, of course, and it was a statement, but also it's like, man, it's coming down on the way of deciding the best player in the world. And then we also had Evo Japan. It's gonna be more difficult for sure. But at the same time, I feel like we already have so many tournaments to decide the best player in the world. We have Capcom Cup, we have EWC, we have a bunch of Premier. Like, playing Combo Breaker these days feels like an Evo 2 kind of an Evo level tournament. So it's like we already have a bunch of tournaments to decide the best player in the world. And we have to be we have to let go of that, you know, the whole player thing. Like, oh, we need to decide who's the best every month. I think sharing the Evo experience with the world and people that cannot go to the US or cannot spend that money to go to Vegas, because it is pretty expensive. Like, I feel like that's more important than what we love in that sense. But I completely understand the feeling. I'm a little bit torn apart, but I feel like the right path is to share Evo with the world and do all of this Evo everywhere. You know, I feel like it's more of a good thing than a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think the access to spread, the ability to compete and get exposure is definitely an amazing thing. And you even brought up yourself, right? For example, there's going to be like an Evo Brazil and Evo Mexico coming up. You mentioned having some pride in being the first Street Fighter Latin American champion. Even this past Evo, that was a point I wanted to bring up. Evo 2026, that top 8. It wasn't just Men RD in that top 8. We had another DR representative crossover in there. So that marks, at least in my recent memory, the you Kaba crossover. That's at least in the past Street Fighter titles, 3 members of the Dominican Republic making it to the top 8 and winning in your case. And Crime as well from Chile. So do you have any thoughts about this more recent visible successful appearances from players from Latin America, you know, Blas, Crime, and you even see across other titles. Brazil's going crazy in KOF. I believe, what is it, Tag Danny from Mexico? I might be misremembering.
Massa, yeah.
Yes, just winning right now Esports World Cup for Fatal Fury. So,
Esports World Cup, Dark Angel won.
Oh, Dark Angel, excuse me. Thank you for correcting me. So we were seeing a lot of...
I remember how it was competing against you. As a player, Cup, we have EWC, we have a bunch of Premier. Like,
this past Evo, that was a point I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Yes, just winning right now Esports World Cup for Fatal Fury. So,
Esports World Cup, Dark Angel won.
Oh, Dark Angel, It wasn't just Men RD in that top 8. We had another DR representative crossover in there. So that marks, at least in my recent memory, the you Kaba crossover. That's at least in the past Street Fighter titles, 3 members of the Dominican Republic making it to the top 8 and winning in your case. And Crime as well from Chile. So do you have any thoughts about this more recent visible successful appearances from players from Latin America, you know, Blas, Crime, and you even see across other titles. Brazil's going crazy in KOF. I believe, what is it, Tag Danny from Mexico? I might be misremembering.
Massa, yeah.
Yes, just winning right now Esports World Cup for Fatal Fury. So,
Esports World Cup, Dark Angel won.
Oh, Dark Angel, excuse me. Thank you for correcting me. So we were seeing a lot of Latin American champions, especially in recent years, as access has increased to these regions. So I wonder if you have any other thoughts about that, along with, you know, Evo expanding to these regions.
It makes me extremely happy, you know, as someone that I think people don't remember how Latin America was used to be looked at not too long ago, like Street Fighter 4 days, and even coming up in Street Fighter 5, where it was like, is this region really that good in Street Fighter, or is the game being much more accessible, making this happen? Because in Street Fighter 4, we didn't know. And when I say we, I say that as a fan, right? Not as a Latin American citizen. We didn't know how good we actually were because we didn't have the chance to travel. But at the same time, we weren't there, so we can't say we're some of the best in the world if we didn't travel and fight the best in the world. So we had some, like we had Pierre Balrog representing Latin America, right? And we had a few players going under Kioma at the last Capcom Cup Street Fighter 4, but it was still like a question mark. Are they good, or are there some outliers? But I'm extremely happy that Latin America is not getting the opportunities and getting the sponsorships and getting these tournaments in the region, and we're getting to show that we're actually good. You know, like we understand what this is about. We understand Street Fighter, and if we're given the chance to be accepted in this culture and all of us sharing together what fighting games are, we're also going to produce world-class players. So it makes me extremely happy. And when I saw the top 8, it was like 3 Japanese players and 3 Latin American players. Even though Latin America is not a country, still felt like a big win to me. Like, yo, this is insane that we have the same amount of Japanese players in this top 8. So yeah, I definitely thought about that, and it made me very happy. And I feel like that's a product of the support that the region is getting. You know, and the more we do that, the more we're going to see growth from the region.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I think a positive note that I think it wasn't that surprising to people to see that much representation from Latin America in the most recent Evo top 8, because if that had happened 10 years ago, I mean, people would have been like, what? Like, there's only 3 Japanese players in top 8 for Street Fighter? Like, that would have been unheard of, right? But, you know, yourself, Crossover, and Crime have been putting so much work and have had so many opportunities now. It's like, oh, these guys are in the fold. Like, these are great players. We know it's not, if anyone says anything's a fluke here, they're talking on their ass. They don't know what they're talking about, right? So,
Of course.
it's very different times we're in. It's very great to see that development occur. So, yeah, shout out to Latin America putting in a lot of work. But I want to also talk about the work you've been putting in, because we're winning all these Evo Japans, back-to-back Evo Japan champion. Over this course in time, there was a trend I noticed, which was you would frequently tweet out in Japanese, you would travel to Japan frequently. It seems like you're making these inroads to the Japan scene for years. And finally, you know, we get the announcement that, hey, I'm going to be residing in Japan for the next upcoming Street Fighter League season. Can you talk a bit about that process and how this actually came to be, like your plans for your career at this point in time? Because it's a really groundbreaking move, I feel like, as it seems a lot of the industry is moving to be more Japan-focused.
I always was telling my peers and the players, like, I've always been, all of us have been a fan of Japan, but Street Fighter is a Japanese product, right? And all of us in the competitive scene, watching the Panga and watching the SFL over there, because of the high level, we were always, at least the players, and I know you're included too, we always watch everything from there. We know, oh, this player's coming out, and this guy is turning up. But when 6 came out, I realized it was exploding in Japan. I was like, this is different. I feel like we're behind, and skill-wise, we're not behind. I feel like this is very even. But their community, the support that they're getting is insane. Then when I started coming here, to come here for practice every year, I started going to these little events like watch parties and seeing how the community is. Walking around in Japan, people kept stopping me every day outside of gaming spaces. I'm like, this is starting to feel like a real sport, you know? And
Dude, this is exactly what I've been saying. Though. Like, NA doesn't treat it like a real sport, and there's just no prestige behind it in NA. You know, NA player, if someone says it from NA, you know, they're just like, go get a job, you know, at McDonald's type shit.
I feel like the more support that you get, the more of an impact, the bigger the impact that you can make. With this.
Like, there is no respect whatsoever in NA for that whatsoever.
And I started playing around with that. I was like, okay, let me try to find out how much support actually there is from the Japanese community to foreigner players. That
Japanese community is probably so much better.
I realized, bro, they're really watching us. They're really trying to support what we're doing, but we don't speak the language.
Billion
and I
times
started
better.
trying to make it more accessible to the Japanese fans. And I don't know, one thing led to another. I just kept going with it. I was just, man, every time I do something and I try to include the Japanese fans, there's always support every single time. And yeah, eventually it just felt like a natural move. Like right now the community is growing here, and if the community is growing here, I think that's how we grow our community, making our content more accessible to the fans that are coming in from Japan, being like, we're doing this, you know, we're doing this in the US, we're doing this in Latin America, this is the tournament that we're watching. Because if you notice, a lot of these premieres has 50,000 views, 45,000 of them are in Japan. So it's like, man, shouldn't we try to make this content more accessible for them, more enjoyable? And this is going to help our content grow more. This is going to help the community grow more, tournaments grow more. So that's the way I saw it. And at the end of the day, the SFL Japan felt like a natural move. Like, you know what? I'm just going to completely engage with that and see what happens. It's a new challenge for me competitively. It's a crazy thing that all of us wanted to do, like come to Japan and be here for a year and see what happens. And it was a very tough decision because I love SFL US.
Japan for it now.
I've been competing in SFL US for 5 years, and I feel like what's gonna happen. I always thought about that. What's gonna happen if I leave? But I feel like there's enough talent and there's enough players that need that opportunity, and I feel like we're gonna still see an amazing product and maybe even more amazing. You know, as I said before, I'm a fan and I keep doing all of this. Mana winning a third SFL US or a new storyline forming, a new player finally exploding because he get that chance. So it's like, okay, I'll just do it and see what happens. And you know, whatever happens, I'll be back. Whatever happens, I'll be back home. I'll be back playing SFL US. It's just an experience that I want to have and see how productive it can be.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine there's like a culture shock when you show up to Japan and people are recognizing you off the street outside of gaming sphere. Is that something that you've experienced to any similar degree anywhere else in the world? Because when I was in Japan as well, I noticed the signs for Street Fighter League Japan out in the wild and non-gaming spaces around random gaming cafes, Street Fighter merchandise everywhere I went, arcades all over the place. I got to explore the history, and you could sense that it's bigger. Like it's something that's part of the active culture when you're in Japan. So were you surprised by that? Was there any particularly surprising interaction you had that really made you go, wow, I am in the mecca for Street Fighter?
Yeah, the main difference is in my country, in the Dominican Republic, of course, I've had a lot of experience with that because it's like, oh, this guy is doing this thing that we haven't done before, and maybe the country is gonna get bigger in that. So in VR, I've definitely had a lot of interactions outside of gaming spaces, but it's always, oh, you're that guy, you're the Nintendo guy, you're the gaming guy, you're the champion in Japan every day. Mena. When they say your name is Mena, and as soon as they talk to you, oh, I love your Blanco, or I love this tournament, or I love this match that you had against this guy. It's like, oh, this is an active member of the community. This is a fan. This is someone that supports the FGC for a long time. They know so much about the game, and it's every single day I go out, I find someone like that. In VR, there's of course support, but the support is not for the FGC or Street Fighter. Is there's a Dominican guy going crazy and winning tournaments. It's very different than
Right.
a Dominican guy or Mena, the Blanca player. So it's like we're working in the DR to make the fans reach the depth that the Japanese fans are at. And engaging with the game and knowing the characters' names and knowing the players and knowing the tournaments. In the DR right now is mostly there's a Dominican guy, and I don't understand what's going on, but I'm gonna wave the flag and I'm gonna scream and I'm gonna enjoy it. And it's very different. I feel like it's changing in the DR now, of course. Right now, like I'm preparing to play on the Central American Games. It's the first time esports is featured in any Olympic event in Latin America, and Street
Cool.
Fighter is gonna be there. So it's the first time, and I feel like a lot of people, because of that, are now getting more into it and seeing my chances. Like, oh, maybe Mena gets a gold medal for the country, and seeing matchups and things like that. So I feel like it's getting better, but Japan is they have years of advantage. It's completely different.
Right. Yeah. That's funny. The Nintendo guy. I don't think that might not ever go away. That's a classic for all moms everywhere in the U.S. Like that might stick around for a couple more generations. But yeah, hopefully there's a trickle down effect. I know all of the other communities outside of Japan, I think, are at a similar phase relatively. Right. Japan is the epicenter right now for Street Fighter, and its growth is tremendous. So with that, I'm kind of curious. Can you describe a little bit about how your practice or training has changed and the actual gaming experience for playing Street Fighter? Because I think even that alone, going to Japan to even sit down and play ranked is something that I think a lot of people listening to this podcast would be interested in. Just even online net play. And of course, you're playing with the best players in the world there as well. So can you describe a little bit about the experience?
Ooh.
So, of course, ranked is different. Ranked has so many players that there's the famous Japan inflation for the legend rank, and the MR, where basically you get so many matches of so many high ranked players that it's easier. Even though you're getting more tough matches, it's just the amount of matches that you get is easier to rank up in Japan. So the rank experience is completely different. But for me personally, everyone knows I'm not really a rank guy, and it's more of a back home, back in Massachusetts. I was mainly just watching a lot of replay and relying a lot more on studying and making notes. Basically, 80% of my time, and then that other remaining 20% was training mode and replicating situations and playing in tournaments. But I realized it's not because it was my preferred way of practicing. That was the way of practice, like the best way to practice that I had back home. Now that I'm in Japan, I'm having to measure the amount of practice that I have. Like, look, today I'm gonna play 8 hours. Today I'm gonna play 10 hours, and that's it. Because I can go to the office and play the entire day, and there's not a lack of players. I'm in Tokyo. I can call some random guy. Yo, the number 3 Rashid ranked in CFN. You here in Tokyo? Yeah, I'll be there at 4 p.m. and we can play 100 matches. So it's like, this is too good of an environment to practice, and I need to measure how much I want to put into just playing sets, how much I want to measure into how much I want to put in talking with him or in training mode, discussing the matchup. and how much I have left for my social life and my own
Yeah.
my own well being. Because it's like if I want to play 24 hours a day, I can do it. So it's completely different, and it's definitely the best environment possible for a Street Fighter player. But it being too good means I need to make sure there's a balance and not straight
Yeah.
too far away from what has worked for years. Not changing completely how I practice, but just trying to improve the areas that needed improvement.
Wow. Now you have an overabundance
That's
of
pretty interesting.
resources at your disposal where you have to measure yourself. It's just hard to imagine. Like I know it's real. I was fortunate enough to visit and I could see it firsthand, but it's still hard to imagine from a perspective of a Western player where even scheduling sets with the one guy that's good with the one character that that's in range for your net play to work is already a nightmare. Like it's so difficult to arrange high level training sets due to just the lack of player count. It sounds just incredible, like an incredible environment.
It lights a fire. I can see it in your eyes right now. It lights a fire. Like man,
Man,
when
when
it's
I
sounds
went,
amazing.
a month to Japan, I'm gonna be nice. I know I'm gonna.
yeah, I was on a personal vacation, so when I had a couple hours in the hotel to play ranked, I was like, I might not leave. I got a match with like DCQ. You know what I mean? I was like, what? Like it was just incredible. It was just so different. And I definitely want to have another vacation, like a me vacation where I go back and I just play Street Fighter. Like I saw the shrines and all that. It's great. The nature, the history. Maybe we do a second one where it's only Street Fighter. So maybe
we're
one
here.
day.
We're here to help. We're now in Japan, so it's like I can definitely help too. And it's easier to play for us too. You come to the like me in Boston. I don't know where you are right now. I know you were like in Florida and then the Midwest.
Yeah.
It was hard. Like we see each other in tournament and we're so busy where we have to do this and we have this schedule where we maybe get a set on a good tournament. But you come to Japan, all I'm doing is playing at the office. It's so easy to just go, man, let's play. Let's
Okay.
run a quick FT3s. Let's run a FT5, FT10. Like it's so easy. So yeah, when you come, we can also go crazy at it.
Okay. I'll hold you to that. So I'll remind you. Don't worry. But that said, in Japan, you're there for business. You're there for Street Fighter League. Can you talk a little bit about your team, Momochi, Higuchi, Yamaguchi, Mena, RD? I mean, what a crazy, like, let me run through the accolades really quick. Momochi, he's the only player to ever win Capcom Cup and Evo for the same Street Fighter title. That's a crazy stat for him in Street Fighter 4. He also won Evo Japan in Street Fighter 5 as well, and just longtime fighting game legend. Higuchi, best Guile, that whole debate going on. I think we had it. Kava and Du are going crazy out there. I think Higuchi was kind of there, like, hey man, you're forgetting about me. Yamaguchi just won the largest Street Fighter tournament of all time with EVO Japan, and then Mena RD, 4-time EVO champion for Street Fighter 6, all in one squad. So, what's the rules for balancing these teams? Because this seems kind of broken, man. Is that allowed?
It better be allowed. Last year, Reject was a nightmare. It destroyed my life. Basically, I played in finals. I was like, what am I supposed to do? And the 20 point, there's Furo with Ed, and the 10 point is Lesher with Ed. I guess Daigo and Tokido are the weaklings. What is this team? What are we supposed to do? But it's my turn now. I feel like this team is completely broken. And of course, it's SFL Japan. Like we're not, oh, it's all these four and then we're going to fight, four scrubs. There's a bunch of teams here that are broken. And even the teams that people may see and be like, oh, this team is not that good. It's like, yeah, but this guy is, the best Bison in Japan with the number 3, I don't know, number 3 Guile, and then you have the best Lily randomly on the team, and it's like, if you don't take care of these matchups and you're not playing well, you're done. And another thing is, you have to fight the best Lily. You can't practice with him. There's no more. You're not playing Hibiki anymore. You got to see him at SFL. Like it gets tougher. There's some other dynamics, but the good thing is my team is completely broken. Like I'm not gonna lie, we have 3 Evo champions, and Higuchi has been a finalist in Capcom Cup, has been a finalist at Evo too. Like he was top 4, Capcom Cup top 3 at Evo. The team is completely broken, and I feel like it's gonna be a matter of communication. How much can I improve my my communication skills outside of speaking, you know, showing in the game, my body language, reading the room, what the player needs and what the guys need, and seeing what kind of player they are. If they're a salty player, how can I get them out of it? Or if I should just lay back. If they're a player that's good with advice, or there's a player that I just gotta let them do their own thing, because these are all champions, you know. And I've been a captain for 5 years in SFL, and I've always took it as my responsibility to be like, you know what, I need to make sure that all the players are playing at their best. But these players, how can I do that if they're already so great? You know, especially Momochi, who's the legend of Street Fighter, and he's the captain. How do we optimize our interactions? And then to me, it's like this season, as much as I put in work with my Japanese, it's gonna be basic at best. It's not an easy language to learn. And I know they're not expecting me to be like a master at Japanese too. It's gonna be just knowing the FTC lingo and be like, oh, this move is called that, and they don't know how to say it in English. I have to know what's the name. Like for example, sweep. I already had to learn sweep from Spanish because English is not also my native language, right? Then I learned this from all these years of watching streams and all of that and adjusting to the American FGC lingo. And now I have to translate to Japanese. And a lot of these lingos makes the slang makes zero sense. We call stuff like why sweep? You know, it's crouch heavy kick. Why do we call it sweep? And then in Japan they call it dayashi, which is big leg or big foot. But it's not even saying if it's crouching or standing. It's just big leg. That's sweep. You know, it's like okay, I have to learn all these things. That's the main hurdle. I feel like I don't have to worry about gameplay. I don't have to worry about I don't feel good in this match. What are we gonna do? They can take care of it. Like these guys are amazing. It's a broken team. So if we can get the communication going, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't be world champions.
Hey, thanks for checking out the brand new Trash Talk content, and maybe you're enjoying the new and refreshed look on the brand new Trash Talk YouTube channel. Well, whether or not you're tuning in on YouTube or Spotify or another podcast platform, I wanted to thank today's sponsor, you. To commemorate kicking off the new season of Trash Talk, we've also launched a new merch line. This new merch line's on a brand new merch store over at Orchid 8. You can check out t-shirt and hoodie designs for the new Trash Talk logos and extra trashy logos. We also have brand new unique designs like Hajoken, custom move lists, one more coffee sip for real, and of course, Brian F's signature spaghetti. On top of that, of course, we've got all the designs on mugs as well. To check out what's available, just head over to brianf.shop to see all the brand new merch. Okay, that's all I got. Back to the episode. Wow. Yeah, that's an amazing breakdown. It's interesting how the biggest hurdle is the team dynamic, the language barrier. Like, these are very interesting challenges to tackle, especially since, like he's mentioned, you're all such accomplished fighting game Street Fighter players. So I'm definitely going to be interested in tuning in to seeing how that's going, because it's not just, you tackling these new challenges. Like I mentioned before, it's breaking frontiers, because I strongly believe, and I have been calling that for years, where more and more players probably need to be taking the steps that you have been taking for years now. You've laid the inroads. You were very forward thinking, I believe, in building this fan base, this communication, and now you're here in Street Fighter League Japan. This seems to be the place where the professional scene is the most developed by far. It'll be a long time before the rest of the world catches up. And so you're really being a trailblazer here, I think. I think a lot of other top players are going to be watching what you're doing and taking notes to see if they can follow up what you're doing here.
Thank you so much. And I do think so too. I feel like taking the step to Japan seems scary. It's like, bro, nobody has done this. Maybe I'm going to regret it. Maybe I'll burn out and I will lose the love for the game. Not language, all of that. But it's like, me being here, and I know I'll be all right. It's a great country. I'm already familiarized with it. I'm not scared of it, and I know the community is also very like hospitable, and they're gonna help as much as they can. When the players see that I'm all right and that I'm improving at the game and that I'm chilling, they're gonna be like, you know what, I'm going to. So next season, I'm ready for y'all. I know they're coming.
Ooh, okay.
I know these dudes are coming. I know they're coming. I know it's not gonna be just me next season. They're coming to take my spot. And if I win SFL Japan, they're coming to take the title too. Like it's gonna get crazy. So I know next season these dudes are already seeing like I'm chilling. I'm in Japan. I still love the game. I'm not having any issues. I'm happy. Went to Evo, one Evo, went to Blink, one Blink. They're like, oh, he's playing better. They're coming. So get ready for that.
Ooh, okay. That's very interesting. I would love to see. I thought this was going to happen earlier with the Birds. You know, they got picked up by Team Rejects for a little bit. I'm like, oh, the Birds going to Japan. So I'm happy to see the floodgates open and see the chaos that ensues and a real weekly league, which is what I've been missing from the other league formats, which they make compromises based on the geographical location, players traveling to do, you know, the bulk episodes. But strictly Japan, that format is the most intriguing to me. So I'm very curious to see where this goes with the world colliding in strictly Japan. So I'll be on the lookout for that. One other big thing, though, you did in Japan, we got to bring it up now, stems from another seed that you had planted a year or two prior. You put out the challenge to one Daigo Umehara, a tweet into the wild challenging the GOAT of Street Fighter to a 1st to 10 challenge. And, you know, a year and some change later, the set has transpired. I want you to walk me through a little bit of that journey, how this all came to be, and what was your thought process, even in the beginning, of putting out this challenge to Daigo Umehara, someone who has been such a monumental figure, arguably the most important figure in the world of fighting games for so long. So please, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
I don't know if it's I don't even know if that's arguable. You know, that's showing respect to the other players, you know, like Justin and those guys. But I think definitely like Umehara is the most influential figure of all time. But it's hard to say where it all started. I feel like fighting games have been my life all this time. Like I've only had this life, so ever since I was born, I've been surrounded by fighting games, and I've known about Daigo. I've known about the top players since I was a little kid. So I don't know how my feelings developed towards him as a player. Like it's just been my entire life. He's been the best, and he's been this impossible figure. But what really made me like I have to do it now was they released this video of Tokido talking about the matches that made me. It's a series that Evo does about the most important matches on a fighting game player career. And Tokido was talking about the matches that made him, and he mentioned the Kemono Michi with Daigo. And he said this match was the one that he learned from the most, and it was the most shocking. And there's two instances. One was when Daigo was preparing for the 1st to 10 against Infiltration.
Hey,
He was practicing with Tokido, and Tokido was like, "I've never seen this level of gameplay before fighting Daigo in the Akuma matchup." And then when the challenge happened itself, people forget everyone was saying the same thing. Daigo is not gonna be. Tokido's the best in the world, you know. There's no way. And then there was the few believers that were like, "Yo, you guys don't know about Daigo in this format. He might do it," and he completely destroyed Tokido. So I was like, man, what? And I witnessed that live. I was like, what is going on with this dude in this format? But I also felt this is my best format, and I've never gotten to show it. I've never gotten to show Menaing a 1st to 10. I've never gotten to show what I can do preparing just for someone. Because in the position that I am, people forget when I go to Capcom Cup, I'm preparing for everyone. Because everybody is preparing. What everyone does is I'll prepare for the best players in the world and Blanca. I prepare for the best players in the world and Mena, because I know I'm gonna see this guy in the tournament. For me, I don't know who's coming for me. I gotta prepare for everybody, you know? So I've never gotten a chance to be like, I'm just focusing on this guy and putting all my effort just into one guy. And I felt like, you know what? I want to experience that. And if he gives me the chance, I feel like I can showcase my skill. I want to experience his skill on this format and see how far the game could develop. You know, maybe we can push Street Fighter 6 even more forward than it is right now. and that's why that came out. And I'm extremely happy that it happened. I'm extremely happy. Like, it's, to me, it made a very big difference in how I feel about the game right now. To me, it was growing a little bit stale. It was more of the same thing. Like, I already figured out this game. I know what it's gonna be. But playing him, and more than that, the preparation process was insane. Is the most I prepared in my life for any kind of set. I think it's the best Street Fighter that I was playing in my entire career, and it made me remember just playing Street Fighter is one of the biggest joys I've ever experienced. That's why I want to do it so much. That's why I like to play so much. And I was playing easily 100 plus matches every single day. I was playing multiple first to tens with the best Akumas in the world. And I flew out my coaches that know me the most. Crossover, who's been my rival since I was a little kid. Louisman, who taught me how to play Street Fighter. And Roy, who has been my coach since 2022. And I was grabbing these three guys and I was telling them, coach the Akuma players. You guys know how to beat me. Tell them how to beat me. Like, I want to replicate how does it feel if someone knows what I'm gonna do. And I was doing that, Brian, for a month every single day. Every single day. 7+ FT10s every day, being coached against me. Like, I was giving my coach to the players. And all of that time, that entire month, I didn't lose a single set. I didn't lose a single first attempt. And I was playing Anel, I was playing Shooter, I was playing Naon, I was playing Jassy, the best Akumas possible, game in. And then finally getting to play Kimono Michi and realizing that Daigo was stronger than all of them and that there was nothing I could do to prepare for what I was experiencing. That's the peak of love I felt for the game. It doesn't have an end. That question that I had, that doubt, maybe I can finish this game too. Maybe this is over. I already figured out the feeling of Street Fighter. When I saw this guy, his fireball game, his neutral, I was like, it didn't matter how much I prepared. I cannot deal with this. It made me so happy to be like, there's a lot I don't know yet. There's a lot to learn. This is the best decision I've ever made. Just tweeting that, and I didn't even know what to expect, but it surpassed my expectations. And I don't know. The only thing I regret is that, as I said, I'm a fan too. The only thing I regret is that I also wanted Daigo to win. A part of me wanted him to keep the mystique going, but at the same time, being the one that experienced
Daigo to win is so bad.
I'm telling you, like, I was playing too good. To me, I was playing insane. There was no way that I was gonna lose 6 games to this guy, and it felt like I could have lost the entire set. So, if it was any other player there, my money was on Daigo. And this is no knock to any of my rivals. They're monsters, but I think Daigo was getting anybody there. It's just because I won is gonna get lost into that's as much as he could have done. Not really. This was a monster, and it made me extremely happy to see that kind of player. At the end of the day, I saw the little things that he was missing, like some of the mastering the mechanics of the game. The resource management to me was a little bit like, why didn't he use the super here? Why is he using this in this scenario? And not knowing how broken parry was. Like, if you mix a young player reaction, like the new generation of Street Fighter V, our reaction is all insane. So it's like, with my reaction, having the parry, there's gonna come a point where the layer doesn't involve fireballs anymore, because I'm gonna stop it. And it felt like for him, like, this is not possible. There's no way you're gonna nullify fireball completely. And that's where the
That's the new
first attempt
generation
ended.
Street
So
Fighter.
I felt like, bro,
And just in general,
I wish we could have done more, and I could have seen the next layer. Maybe he had something else prepared. But this is small things. If he improves that, what now? So
Right.
I don't know. I have like the feeling like this isn't over, and we're gonna see more from him, and that makes me extremely happy. So maybe we'll get to see more Daigo Umehara, more Santa Claus. Maybe we'll get to see that more.
Even you retelling it, it's clear the passion you have that so many of us share, and I was getting just emotional hearing you retell it because I also had the same view of Daigo, this mystique. I think most people who have been in the FTC for a number of years now have shared that view of Daigo as this almost mythical figure to inspire you to always reach for more, try to achieve more beyond what you thought was possible, and that there's always another step to take. And I think that's something beautiful about fighting games. And because you put out that challenge, we got to see that again. I think you created a moment that served to inspire everyone who is a fan of fighting games and a fan of just keeping that belief alive. Because myself included, I think a lot of people logically were assuming that Mena RD is the favorite here, but there was always that but. Daigo could do it, and when he came out winning the first to two in that first to 10 set, I mean, there was a moment where Santa Claus was real, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
There was a moment. So it was a beautiful moment. So I want to thank you for putting out that challenge and for pushing yourself and Daigo to that level, because I think that's just the most inspiring thing about Street Fighter and fighting games as a whole.
100%. And I'll tell you something. The office where I practice is 10 minutes away from the office that he practices every day. Every day we're 10 minutes away. And every day I think about walking into his office and be like, yo, let's play. Because I've been left with this lingering feeling like there was so much more. Maybe we could go even further. And we did push the game. Like, you see how when the season started, Akuma and Blanca were the big losers from the patch. And everyone was like, oh, Blanca is dead. The Blanca chain goes away. The chip damage from the level 2. Blanca was an extreme loser from the patch. But because of the pushing forward of the meta that happened, today Blanca's broken. Blanca's the devil right now. No, people don't want to see Blanca anymore. But this guy Shigematsu that you're seeing played every single day with Daigo. That guy Takagi you saw in the World Warrior Top 8 played every single day with Daigo. So it's like the game was pushed forward, not in the way people liked it, because Blanca benefited a lot more, but it did happen. And every day I think about that. We can do even more. We can push the game even more. And I want to play with him every day. But the reason I'm not doing that, even though he's right there, it's because of that same mystique. I want him to feel like, to have the same feeling that I'm feeling. There was more. I know I could have done more. I know we could have done more. And I'm going to prepare and fight him again eventually. So I'm just waiting for that. I know there's more. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be another grand first to 10. But when the moment comes and he feels ready again, like, you know what, let's go again. Let's do it again. Let's play one more first to 10. I want to keep that mystique. Like, I'm going to show you that there's more from my side too. And that's what we're not playing every single day. But every day I have the feeling like, man, I just want to hit him up and play some Street Fighter. So just saying it because people may think like, oh, this was it. But I don't think this is it. I think we're going to see more Daigo.
I love you keeping the hope alive, man. I mean, he is qualified for Capcom Cup. He is in there.
And EWC.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So as a fan of the game and as a fan of Daigo, I would love to see, the Beast awaken once more, which we saw that for sure in that first to 10. It was clear as day that was the Daigo that we know, and he still has it in him. So it's really just inspiring to see, because we don't know where the limit is, right? This is new ground for everybody involved. And I think in the American scene and our infrastructure, it's more of a easier cliff to fall off because real life comes into play, responsibilities, and the infrastructure isn't there to support our pro players for that long. Japan, True. Daigo, unique situation where they have an infrastructure, a growing scene. So who knows? Who knows where the limit really is? So once again, thank you for bringing the Beast back and awakening him once more, and we'll see where he goes from here on out. Well, with that said, though, You did bring up one character I have to touch on because you brought up the devil after you used them to beat the beast. You brought up the devil, Blanca. I gotta bring it up because it's been a real big point of discourse. I know you do really well at tuning out the outside noise, but I live in that noise now, right? And so that's where I live these days, and I get to read and hear a lot of really interesting opinions about Street Fighter, the game, the balance, and your success specifically. Do you have any thoughts on Blanca, the character, his strength, and also his rise in popularity in the Japan scene as a character that you have proclaimed to be top tier for a long time? We now have players like Shigematsu, Grand Finals of EVO with you with Blanca. Takagi, you mentioned Kings Vega, Aqua. Japan has adopted this character as, you know, one of the go-to characters to play with a strong character with a chance to win. What do you think about Blanca right now in Street Fighter 6? What's your opinion on the character? Any thoughts you can share?
Here's the thing. The question to me, I know you're not setting me up, but it's naturally a setup because it doesn't matter what I say. It's coming from a Blanca player, right? But let me make the disclaimer. I don't like this character as a... I think he's ugly too. I think Blanca's ugly. I think he's just a green monkey from
I
Brazil.
hate his new
like,
son.
what's the...
Hold on, let me see Street Fighter 2 Blanca. Eh.
like from Blanca? I never played Blanca in any other game, but when I touched him in Street Fighter 6 for the first time, you can be there. It's like
Street Fighter 6 was better.
Use the lighting beast, and I remember Evo 2022. I played Wolfgang.
It feels so good.
And Wolfgang used Lightning Beast in Street Fighter 5, and I didn't know how good it was. So when I got hit by all of that, I said, this is completely broken. Like that he gets all of this cannons and all of these scenarios, because if the Blanca really laps, how is someone that doesn't lap all of that, how are they going to know what to do? I can have 100 layers, you know? And that's how it felt to me at the time. But since B-Trigger was locked behind being a loser, like you were in the corner, you were losing, I was like, you know what? This is when is he going to get to activate it? And that was the problem with Blanca in 5. How he depended on the B-Triggers. So it was like, when are you going to activate it, you know? And it wasn't even broken enough to compare with like Urien and you know, Oro and these broken B-Trigger characters. But then I played 6. The first day I do the trials, I'm like, Lightning Beast is a super. I think this is a healing situation. I think this shouldn't be a super. Like, I can build Lightning Beast.
That thing is insane.
Okay. As soon as I started playing him, the bullying started. Kava was like, oh, this is your kind of character. This is what we want to see. Mana Blanca. And everybody I told, oh, but I'm going to play Blanca. Everybody was making fun of me. Like, have you lost your mind? Like, what are you doing now? And that's how I felt with the characters. With the character for a long time, and that's why I always talk about, oh, people don't choose him because he's ugly. I'm being sarcastic. I don't think any of these players care about that. I think any player, 99% of the players would pick Blanca if that meant they're winning Capcom Cup, right? But when you pick the character, you realize this is a weird character. So even now, where everything is laid out, the blueprint is there. You can just watch videos and copy what we're doing. It still takes a lot of time because he's weird. And there's so many things that you have to know. But you have to remember, all these years, I had no video to learn all these things. I had no one to teach me how to make Blanca win, how to make Blanca work in each matchup, how to make up for the tools that he lacks, like not having a 6-frame medium punch, you know, or having to commit to big buttons and getting hit by drive rush. Or, you know, all of these things. Like, he has amazing tools, but there's also a lot of things that he doesn't have because he's just weird. So what can we do to surpass that? And it's been years of work. And that's what I want people to understand. Even though I think the character is extremely strong, I've believed that since the start of the game. This character, if I knew what I know now, Season 1, I wouldn't have lost a single tournament because this character has only been getting nerfs every patch. So that means when the game came out, he was extremely broken, and I knew that. But I like the kind of top tiers where you have to develop them. where you have to create a way to win with them, and then people see this
Yeah.
character is the devil. It's just we needed time to see it.
Yeah.
I hate top
I
tiers
think
like
I think it's always
mine
fun when that
or top
happens.
tiers like
When the low
accessible
tier
to
end up
Luke
being like
season
top
one, where
tier.
it's like, oh, you know the fundamentals, and then suddenly any
But it's
strong player is
annoying
amazing with this character. I like top tiers like Blanca,
because
where
they
it's
won't get
like
nerfed
you
forever
have to
because of
dedicate a
general
lot of
opinion.
time to making them work. So at the end of the day, yes, Blanca is broken. I think he's amazing. I don't think he's as broken as many people think, because most people don't really understand what's going on. There's a lot we're getting away with, and there's a lot that he's not lacking. He has all the tools, but there's a lot of basic things where he is terrible at, like punishing drive reversal. He doesn't have a 6 frame medium punch, as I said. Um, Damage outside of Blanca Chan doesn't have a lot. You spend 3 bars, you get 22, 2200. Like, there's a lot of things that he has, but we're making it work. The character is extremely developed. Japan saw what Blanca had, and they were like, you know what, this character is broken too. We're gonna follow what he's doing. We're gonna develop this character. A lot of lap monsters have things that I don't even use. Like, there's a lot, but this character is definitely not hard to use, because all of these amazing Blanca players, Shigematsu, Takagi, Kings Vega, these are geniuses with the character. When I see them when I see them with Blanca, I'm like, these guys are insane. And to this day, haven't won a major. To this day. And there's a lot of things that you see. Why is he, like Blanca, man? Why is Blanca getting hit by this? Why is Blanca in this situation? Like, he made the wrong mistake, spent 4 drive meters, he's out. I'm like, bro, come on. You know? He fights Amai, the neutral is impossible. Amai is just using Send Heavy Punch, can't do anything. I'm like, bro, there's so many risks that you have to take. So to me, like, there's a side of Blanca that's broken, but there's another side. Why are these guys not winning if they're amazing? The character has a lot of things that you have to deal with too when you use him. And if you don't believe me, if you think this is propaganda, if you think this is politics, please play Blanca. Please try him. Like, he's there. You don't have to buy any DLCs. You don't have to spend your CFN money, your fight money. You don't have to use it. The drive tickets. He's there. He's free. So please try Blanca and see how you feel. But now I want to change a little bit the discourse. What do you think, Brian?
Interesting. Oh, flipping the script on me. I like the response though. He's not even DLC. That's a crazy one. Base game. He's there. He's there with the game included. Interesting. What do I think about Blanca? I mean, I think his level 2 could be toned down like many people think. I think maybe there's a symptomatic issue where it synergizes with the meter build of the game. So I think there's a couple factors that make it a little bit too much. I think the level 2, maybe the duration can be reduced and the meter build for the game can be adjusted. After that, I'm kind of cool with the rest of it. That's how I feel.
His
But
ulti's
I
always
do
been
have to
pretty
bring it
nuts.
up because I see so many comments after the first of 10, after every EVO victory. What is the number one comment? Which it annoys me because I feel like it's just scrub quoting all over the place to a degree, but I also understand from a viewer perspective. It's
I'll be right back. 1 second.
Blanca level 2, right? Like that is the number one complaint I see, and it saddens me a little bit because I feel like it distracts from people just appreciating the show a little bit. It's like overtakes the narrative and the discussion around the game. But I wonder if you see this conversation going on and what you think about it, and if it impacts you at all, because it's a lot of noise and it's unfortunate, I think.
No, I understand it. There's a deeper layer of the game where it's like the viewers don't have the responsibility to understand all of this. Like, and I'm not trying to be condescending. It's not really like if I watch baseball, I don't have. Why do I have to understand why the pitcher is making this boring and throwing the same pitch over and over? I don't have to understand that. I just want to enjoy the sport. And if the sport is allowing this, then you adjust it. You know, you adjust your sport so it's enjoyable. I completely understand because I'm a fan of a lot of things too. But as a player, it's unrealistic to ask me like, Brian, what if I ask you, you were playing Street Fighter 5, and every time you win with Oro's V trigger, you lab years and doing all of that. And I'm telling you, bro, you only win because of B trigger, you know, and I'm beating you in neutral. But I'm playing Karen, you're playing Oro. Are you supposed to out neutral me, Oro versus Karen? Like,
Am I talking to Rob TV right now? What?
Yeah, that people are telling me. People are telling me that I didn't out neutral Daigo Umehara with Blanca when he's using Akuma. Akuma has a skateboard. Akuma is extremely fast with fireballs, and he has the demon flip, which breaks the neutral whenever he wants. If I don't have charge, I cannot deal with the jump. So it's like I have to look at the jump, I have to look at the fireball, which is impossible to deal with, and he has better speed, better movement than me. How am I supposed to out neutral Michael Jordan with a gun? And I have Blanca. My only win condition is level 2. That's how I'm supposed to win. Level 2, knock him down, hustle the neutral, and try to beat him with my offense. That's how Blanca wins. I cannot do it the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way is with a Shoto. Blanca's not a Shoto, so I cannot do it. And I feel like, why are we going away from the fact that we can enjoy these matches too? I remember Pepe Dai with El Fuerte was like so enjoyable for so many people and so hype. Are we supposed to make El Fuerte out neutral Elena in Street Fighter 4? And if he doesn't win the neutral, then this is trash. No, we need different gameplays. You know, it's not only neutral. When we had only neutral, you guys didn't like it. You guys didn't like Street Fighter 5. You guys thought it was boring, and that was only neutral. That was Luke versus Luke.
It can't work though.
This was all just dancing and confirming. You guys thought it was boring. When you guys saw Elena versus Elena, that's only neutral. You didn't like Elena in Street Fighter 4. That was a Street Fighter. You hated that. So now we're changing it a little bit, and you want the neutral back, right? No, let me tell you, it doesn't work like that because I'm not playing a character that dominates neutral, sadly. So yeah, that's how I feel. Like, it's not their job to understand why I'm using the tactics that I'm using. If Capcom at the end of the day worries and is like, you know what, let's nerf Blanca, you know, I'll feel sad because I have fun with the character, but I'll play the next broken thing. Like, I have to win as a player, you know? And it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to follow the meta. That's not what I do. I blend it. I play a meta character and I play a character I have fun with. But whatever character I have fun with, if you see me pick him, he's broken. I just haven't figured out yet how to break the game with him.
Hey, we'll get right back to the discussion, but first, I'm proud to thank today's sponsor, Victrix. I've been using the Victrix Pro KO leverless controller as my daily driver for at-home practicing and for traveling to tournaments for over a year now, and I honestly love this controller. And now Victrix is refreshing their look with a classic throwback with the Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition design. This hits all the marks for me for a leverless controller, starting with just the build of it. It's the perfect blend of being large enough to sit on your lap with ample wrist room and maintaining an ergonomic button design while also still being extremely portable. But I think the biggest thing is how forward-thinking the features of this controller really are. The aluminum top plate has a customizable button layout so that you can get the configuration that you prefer. Also, the extra buttons and components and the tool to swap the buttons are literally stashed inside the controller itself. Me personally, I like to use an extra thumb button here for easy access to Street Fighter 6 parry macro. The customization, of course, extends to the fashion because you can completely customize the LED configuration for the controller as well. So if you're interested as well, you can head over to the link in the pinned comment or description and use coupon code BrianF at checkout for 10% off. Using the BrianF checkout code does help support me and the Trash Talk podcast, so I would really appreciate it. And thanks again to Victrix for sponsoring this episode. Okay, back to the discussion. I love it. I love it. Yes, I love spinning it back and the detractor's face a little bit because it's funny you even bring up Pepidai. You know, he was hyped to watch for the tournaments he won, but if he won every tournament, I think we would hear the same thing again.
Quesadilla, like he's a scrub, he's just doing this thing. I know. It's the
If
nature
he won
of
4 Evos with El Fuerte, I do think some comments would be coming up or people will be complaining. So yeah, I love turning around, and there's always that rat race with top players and developers. I think that's the interesting thing about video games as an esport versus traditional sports. They're not going to patch gravity anytime soon, but every once in a while, even in traditional sports, they might adjust the rules. They added the shot clock, goaltending to basketball when something gets broken. The players adapt. So we've seen it from you for years. Like I think people have short memories. We've seen you go from the Birdie, the Luke, the Blanca. I'm sure whatever happens, you'll find your way, and you always take a little creative approach to, which I appreciate.
Yeah, people forget season 2. To close this matter, of course, people forget season 2. I want to premiere with Zangief, and Zangief is that same kind of character where it's like you might not like how he's winning, but to play Zangief is hard. Like to master him is not hard. He's a very easy character to do whatever he's doing, but to win with Zangief, it requires a set of skills that not everybody has. So I can use Zangief, I can use Blanca, I can use Dawson, I can use so many things that you guys haven't seen, and I'll use them, and I'll make the game boring. I'll make the game not as enjoyable to watch because my job is to win. And if I win a lot, naturally it will become boring. So it's the nature of things. I don't take it personal. It's just if you're trying to knock on me as a player, I feel like you're doing it a little bit too late. I feel like that's a 2018 thing, that's a 2017 thing. And if you're here to hate watch and to say, oh man, that's not a good player and that, and you're having fun, it's okay. But if you really believe it, you gotta get out of that, man. Like it's not gonna be fun for you. The next patch is gonna come out. I'm gonna play another broken thing and same thing over again, and then you're gonna have to say the game sucks. And let's skip that. Let's skip that.
Wow, save yourself the heartache and accept that Men RD the Terrible is inevitable, and no matter what, patch the character, it's coming to the championship.
That's not sticking, man. What are you doing?
Wow. I mean, it's ferocious what you're saying, man. These hate watchers are gonna have to get used to it. But yeah, you brought up them blame the game eventually. I do want to talk about that because, of course, game sucks. It's always a revolving circular discourse about any active competitive
Game
title.
sucks.
People always debate about the quality of the game, the mechanics of the game, the balance of the game, and obviously Street
I
Fighter
just
6 is no
meme
different.
on it.
But I do
When
wanna
I
bring
say
up
it, I
some
always
quotes from
meme.
you that you actually had on this
I don't
podcast.
meme.
You said on Trash Talk back in December of 2024, "This is the most random Street Fighter game I've ever played in my life. The game is extremely fun, but competitively the game is torture. As you saw in Red Bull Kumite 5051, if they play another versus 5, it could be 5-0 the other way. 70% of the instability in this game is the mechanics themselves. Parries broken, drive versus broken. The format panders to the chaos. Good enough players win, but it's hard to figure out who's the best." Do you still agree with that statement from yourself a year and 6 months ago?
Sadly, that was December 2024, right? This is July 2026, and I'm sad to say it's still the same. People think because I'm winning, I'm gonna try to go for the credit. You know, I'm someone that believes I can win in any environment, but the truth is the truth. The game is extremely random, and even though I'm winning a lot, I believe, and I'm delusional enough to believe I'm the best, and I think I should win every single tournament. And I'm not because the game is random. You know, like there's no way people think, oh, he's winning so much. Of course he's gonna say the game is good now. I don't think I'm winning enough because the game sucks. But when I say the game sucks, I don't say it as in the product sucks. I think it's the best Street Fighter product that we have ever seen with the World Tour, with the characters. I feel like, of course, the release timing of like characters and customs is not as good as other Street Fighters, but the end product and how interactive they are and how interactive the characters are, I think this is the best Street Fighter product we have ever seen, or personally
True.
that I have
It is.
seen. The game is
I
amazing
just wish you had
for-
more
for
characters.
any casual, and then you have the modern. Like
It
it's so
still doesn't
accessible.
feel like there's enough variety in the characters, but we're getting there. We're
Competitively, I
definitely
say the
getting there.
game
There's a
sucks
lot.
because it's very unstable, and I think it's on purpose. I think Capcom
Unstable
loves that.
environment, yeah.
Everybody thinks they can win.
Yeah.
But
Probably.
people thinking like, oh, if they make this game more stable, then players like Mena will disappear. It might be the opposite. It might be players like us might win too much, and it will make the product boring. And I feel like that's the worry. That's what we're trying to avoid. So we have to go through the hurdle of playing a game that is designed to be unstable, to involve a lot more rock paper scissors, a lot more
Yep.
decision making of a
Gaming itself in general has been a lot more rock, paper, scissors in that aspect. Like, I absolutely.
pattern recognition, and eventually there's so many options that it's hard to recognize the pattern, and it turns into a lot of guessing, especially in the first
Yeah,
two.
exactly.
So to me,
Definitely.
even though the tournament format
It's happened to a
impacts a
lot of
little bit, I feel
games.
like if the game was first to three, it can help a little bit more. The more as the game develops more, it doesn't matter if the game is first to five. The game is still random. It's very momentum based, and any of the best players in the world can beat each other. I feel like today people might say, "Oh, Mena is the best in the world by far." I can lose to whoever you have ranked number 54. I can lose to them. That's the competitive environment right now. That mixed with the actual competitive environment being bigger with more young players coming in. Now we have 7,000 players in tournaments, and a lot of these players are insane. Like we just saw Hope in Evo Japan. Who knew Hope before that? You know, I saw him. I watched videos every day. I was like, Hope. What do you mean this guy is? What do you mean this guy is cracked? He's insane. So it's like the competitive environment turning as hard as possible with the most volatile Street Fighter of all time. It's gonna give you the current environment, and as a player, it's a nightmare. But at the end of the day, the game is fun. I like to play the game. I have fun, even though sometimes I am super salty. Yesterday, I was salty for no reason. Like every day, it's just Street Fighter 6, man, and love it or hate it, it's the game, you know. And I don't think it has changed. I don't think it will change, and I'm learning to love it for how it is.
Wow. Well, let me push back a little bit to see how you rationalize this to assume the mind of some other arguments I hear where people try to say, "Oh no, this is a very consistent game. This game is not random." They use you as the argument. How is this game random if Mena RD wins every tournament? These are like direct quotes I'm digging up here, right? That's almost verbatim what people say. Mena RD wins everything. How is the game not consistent? You're saying the
Because
exact
I'm
opposite.
NRD, because I'm NRD, I can tell you.
Okay.
If you watched the casual sessions, the first to tens with the other players, how they usually go, and then you watch the tournament results, you will understand why the game is random. I think out of the last 100 sets I've played with Blanca, like long sets playing with players, if I lost one, that's a lot. I win almost every single set I've ever played in this game. And there's a skill gap. I don't think it shows in the tournament result. I think there's an argument for other players. I think there's an argument for players that have my number. There's an argument for a lot of things. If you saw the results outside of tournaments, you will be like, okay, he's clearly the best. Or this player is clearly the best. He will never lose this matchup. And then you go to tournaments and you see that that's not true. This player loses all the time. I lose all the time. He knows this matchup. He should never lose it. He loses all the time too. You will realize the level of dominance that is expected of someone that has the edge, of someone that has more knowledge in a matchup, is not reflecting at all in tournaments. When in Street Fighter 4, some players just didn't lose matchups. If you saw Daigo against Asangi, he was not losing that.
Okay,
It's
Street
just
Fighter
what it
4
was.
insane.
If you saw Punk with Karen, some of these tournaments, you knew he was winning these tournaments. It was nothing nobody could do. You don't see that in 6 anymore. So it's like, I understand you're seeing some level of consistency and you think, of course the game is consistent, but it's not even close to the level of consistency that older fighting games had. Justin 1 won 9 Evos of Marvel vs. Capcom. You know, like, even though I'm winning a lot, I personally think I should be winning a lot more based on my results with other players and the knowledge that I have of the game. And at the end of the day, even though there's a level of consistency, I think it's not even close to what it should be. So, yeah, a lot of people will use me as an argument, and I think they do have a point. There is some consistency. It's not completely random, because we throw that word around a lot. It's not really random, but it's more volatile than all other Street Fighters. That's how I will put it. And even though I sound like, oh, this guy is really cocky or
Looks like
arrogant
it.
or whatever, it's just as a player, I feel like the level of dominance that I should have, and I think that's my job to think like that. And with the numbers that I have behind the scenes, I don't understand why I lose a lot of the time. I lose a tournament, and I'm like, you know what? I guess I didn't sleep correctly today. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I lost. It's like, I played against Akuma, as I told you. This is a great example. For Kimono Michi, I played some of the best Akumas in the world for a month straight. We played first to tens every single day, double digit first to tens. And I didn't lose a single set for that entire month. Then I played Daigo Mihara, which I think was the best Akuma out of all of them. And I win the set 10-6. Then I go to Evo Japan and I play Koza, and he sends me the losers. And everyone around me, instead of feeling sad, like my coaches and everybody, they were trying not to laugh. They were like, because you know how I lost? I had him in the corner. I was about to beat him. He does back throw, drivers, overhead. I'm out. Like, bro. Like, it's a testament to, like, bro,
Yeah.
it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter how good you are in a matchup. If the decision
Yeah.
goes wrong, you're out. And that's
Yeah.
really, I think there's no counter argument to that. It's just how it is.
Yeah. That's
Wow,
how I
you know,
see it
I was
too.
wondering,
Like,
with
that's
you
how it
being in
really looks like.
Japan and the proximity to the fans of the game, I was actually wondering if we're going to get a softer approach from you, men, on this. I was really wondering if you would maybe adjust your tone a little bit, you know, be a little softer with the touch. Wow, that was very direct about your opinion on the state of the game. I'm actually kind of surprised.
And I just want to clarify. As I said, I love the game. I'm
No, you
gonna
can
be
tell
an
he's
ambassador of the game
passionate,
every
you
single
know.
time. I think we need the game to grow. The game has insane momentum, and I'm
He wants to
always
get his
gonna push
opinion
for
out
the
there
game
and
to be
how he
played.
feels.
But if you don't want to hear the truth, don't ask me about competition. Like, at the end of the day, if a Capcom official is watching this, do not ever ask me about the competitive state of the game if you don't want to hear this, because it is the truth.
Wow. Wow, yeah, I think a lot of that that conversation gets a little bit muddied by people's perception of the words used, like random, what is consistency, like everyone's definition is different. But I definitely agree that I see a definite lack of consistency use for what we could expect for a 1v1 competitive title. Skill gaps do exist, of course, but yeah, I could see longer formats or something being done to address that. If you don't want to address the core mechanics for a first to two type of formats, longer sets can help address that as well. But yeah, it's interesting to hear your very honest approach to that, because people always say, man, RD wins
Best of
everything.
5
It's
win.
consistent, but they don't look at the data where there's valleys in between, right? Between the Evo 2025 victory
Best of
and
10.
Blink Respawn, there was 4 tournaments where you didn't make top 8. But then you show up again and you win Evo. So I think a lot of people only see that.
And then the question is why? Why did you get 65th at Evo Japan 2026? Why did you get 13 at Combo Breaker? And then you win a Premier in Evo back to back. Why? And the question, like, how do you answer is, I don't know. I don't know what changed. I'm doing the same thing.
Wow, tough game. Everyone got really good for that tournament, you know? Competition was crazy. Must be. Wow. Well, we'll see if anything comes of that. I definitely feel like we're in a growing pain sort of state of the FGC, where the stakes keep growing and growing for these competitions, but the formats, they're tied to these legacy grassroots formats, and people are competing to qualify for $1 million. The logistics of doing open bracket at these scales, keeping things accessible to new players. There's a lot of tension in a lot of different directions that make it difficult to manage while people are being full-time professional players. So this will always be a hotly contested debate, I think, as long as we're in this phase of the FGC. So I'm interested to see where this goes, but maybe at least first to 3. That one drives me nuts. I'm going to derail a little bit. The first to 3 versus first to 2. I don't understand why we can't do first to 3. Capcom, like, that
Look, man.
alone is crazy to me. It takes no
I don't
time.
understand the argument, and I've had conversations. Like, I'm not gonna. I've spoken with TOs, and there's like this, amount of matches on stream. Do you want to get X amount of matches, or do you want to get more matches on stream? I don't think that little detail is worth it. I don't think getting 6 random no depth matches is better than 4 matches that have more depth and that can develop into more amazing moments. We're not gonna see super reads. We're not gonna see amazing Evo Moment 37 kind of situations if we don't let the game develop. If we only play FT2s and we are going to play, let me land this overhead, let me land this DI, and he's out, we're never going to see super in-depth, because I feel like the game does allow for that. I think the game is not as repetitive as people see. And we saw it in the first attempt. We saw a lot of adaptations. But if we are all playing FT2, I'm not going to adapt. I'm not going to look for what you're doing.
Yeah,
I'm going to
first two's
do
lame.
5 back
First
median
two's
kicks into
lame.
hop knee, into DRC overhead, throw loop. Like, that's what you're going to see is first to 2. So if it's a time constraint like Evo, let's make pulls first to 2. And then outside of pulls, let's make them first to 3. And still, even with pulls, there's so much dead time. There's so much dead time where we're not doing anything, just waiting around. Like there's definitely time to run first to 3. And if I have to sacrifice a tournament and be part of the staff, I'll do it. I'll sacrifice. I'll put in the hard work. I'll volunteer. I'll run brackets. I'll help. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'll do it. I'll help just to show it's possible. And I feel like it's worth it to make the change, because we're gonna get a better product. We're gonna get the talent is gonna be happier. It's gonna be more stable. We're gonna get more pro players being confident in doing this as a living, and we're gonna get better matches too. So I feel like there's a positive outcome to do this. I don't think it requires that much effort. It's just running the tournament. Running the tournament anyway is hard. I don't think it's that much harder adding an extra game.
Yeah. I struggle to rationalize it at this phase as well.
Yeah, they really should.
I don't know. It's been ongoing for quite some time. I'm hoping Capcom just makes the change. They could manage it even for the World Warriors, the online tournaments, but we'll see. It's been years at this point, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to segue this now to some Patreon questions. So I posed to my Patreon members any questions they want to ask Meta RD, and they have a couple of questions here. And while we're on the topic of Street Fighter 6 being random or not, Luna Lessa here asks, overall opinion about Street Fighter 6. Which changes would you like to see in Season 4, or anything about the mechanics that you would like changed? So anything specific that you're thinking about with the game that you would like to see?
Yeah. To me, get rid of Troll Loop. Just get rid of it.
Do it.
It's not good.
Troll Loop fucking sucks,
Get
dude.
rid of, not get rid, but nerf.
It's so funny, but it
Significantly
needs-
nerf the amount of drive meter
Needs to go.
we can reduce on block. I feel like block has to come back. I feel like we're not seeing enough blocking. A lot of matches are being decided by random wake up level 3, random backdash, or some people just get mauled because they're trying to guess and they can't guess. It's because block is not an option. You block, you lose 4 bars, 5 bars, on top of a mix-up. On top of, if you parry, you already lose 1 bar of drive gauge plus hard knockdown. Like, just let's try it out. Just get Troll Loop out of the game. And the characters that rely on it, like Blanca will be nerfed. His offense will be worse, but give him better neutral tools, like with the crouch heavy punch, knock him down, things like that. I love them. Just make the game rely less on rock paper scissors, in my opinion. There's always going to be a factor, but
The game has become
then make blocking
extremely
an
rock,
option.
paper, scissors.
Buff drive reversal, like why is it so trash? Just make it like B reversal, or B reversal
Yeah.
was safe. Like
There you
make
go.
it safe, and if I want to beat it, I have to call it out with an option select or a super or a jump. Make it safe. Like we're not scared of it, Just make it safe, really. It doesn't have to be punishable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's about it. I feel like this game is amazing and has a lot of tools that we have
True.
to yet to see.
I'm gonna agree on that
We're
shit.
stuck almost in the same kind of meta in tournaments because those tools are so strong. But overall, it's just a matter
I think
of
throw
let's
loops
try to
though
make
should
the
stay in the
game
past.
less volatile in the sense of let's make the better player win. And that's what's gonna make me inspired to grind. Because if I grind every day and I become a better player, but I can still lose to the same people, what's the point? Overhead, same thing. Like I like that in Street Fighter 5, you did an overhead and you went for it. It was -6. You could punish it. So it's like even if you do a drive rush overhead, I think it should be significantly minus, like -2, -3. If you get it on hit, get your combo, get your 5,000 damage combos that are still here. But if I block it, why are you plus? You know, I feel like it shouldn't be plus. Just make it minus so we can actually turn that into our favor. Oh, you went for a risky move, then that means it's my turn now.
Right.
Things like that.
To play devil's advocate here, it sounds like a lot of the changes you're asking for would make this game a lot more like Street Fighter V, where a lot of people would say, I'm happy with throw loops. I like this. I like that it forces you to take offensive action consistently. And in fact, I would even assume after watching that Street Fighter League Punk versus Kawano in Street Fighter League World Finals in 2025, man, that Japan audience loves some throw loops. What do you have to say about that?
Well, they love troll loops if it's done by a Japanese player. If it was Punk doing that, they were not gonna cheer. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, if they leave troll loops in, if they leave the game at this state, I'm happy to. I love it. I'll play Blanca. I'll do what I have to do. I'll throw loop people a million times and do scummy things. I don't care. Like I'll have fun anyway. I'll adapt. Like you don't have to worry about me adapting to the system. I'll do it. I'm happy getting 1,000,002 in a tournament and then winning 5 tournaments in a row. I'm happy with that. It's okay. But if we're talking about making a better game, then we got to get a little bit closer to old Street Fighter V because I feel like Street Fighter V was an amazing Street Fighter by the end. But if we add some of the fun factor, the new mechanics, you know, a lot of new tools with the characters, better, I don't know, less confirms. It makes me engage with the resources. Like, it's not going to be Street Fighter V. This game is more fun, in my opinion. But we need to get a little bit closer to it, you know, and add some of that neutral factor, some of that myth called neutral. We need it back. I think we need that back. I think we no longer recognize it.
There's hints of it here and there. We see it when Punk's playing, for example. I get reminded of how things used to be, but it's definitely a different take on neutral for sure. And you see it a lot more with the younger players, which is it's inspiring in its own ways. When I watch players like Blas, Cryme, Hanao, they clearly have like a different like DNA for the game. You know, it's very different how they approach, and it's a little scary, but it's also inspiring. Like I see a different vision also, like the next level of how the game could be approached. So if it doesn't change back to be more Street Fighter V, like I think there's still beauty to be found. You know, like I still think.
I think so. Yeah, I'll dunk it back into 9,000 damage too. Like it's there's some beauty in it too. You know, like there's something there.
Of course. Okay, let's get another question here. This is an interesting one from.
I stepped away for a second. What I missed?
Has the Japanese community next level of how
What's the point? You know, overhead, same thing. Like I like that in Street Fighter V, you did an overhead and you went for it. It was -6. You could punish it. So it's like even if you do a drive rush overhead, I think it should be significantly minus, like -2, -3. If you get it on hit, get your combo, get your 5,000 damage combos that are still here. But if I block it, why are you plus? You know, I feel like it shouldn't be plus. Just make it minus so we can actually turn that into our favor. Oh, you went for a risky move, then that means it's my turn now.
Right.
Things like that.
To play devil's advocate here, it sounds like a lot of the changes you're asking for would make this game a lot more like Street Fighter V, where a lot of people would say, I'm happy with throw loops. I like this. I like that it forces you to take offensive action consistently. And in fact,
yeah.
I would even
I actually forgot. Throw loops weren't in 5. They added a thing to where you got pushed back. I forgot about that.
assume after watching that Street Fighter League Punk versus Kawano in Street Fighter League World Finals in 2025, man.
Yeah, I don't like
that
throw loops,
Japan
though.
audience loves some throw loops. What do you have to say about that?
No, it's dumb. Nah, I don't think they love
troll
it.
loops if it's
I
done
think-
by a Japanese player. If it was Punk doing that, they were not gonna cheer. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, if they leave troll loops in, if they leave the game at this state, I'm happy to. I love it. I'll play Blanca. I'll do what I have to do. I'll throw
Yeah,
loop
people will still play 'em.
a million times and do scummy things. I don't care. Like I'll have fun anyway. I'll adapt. Like you don't have to worry about me adapting to the system. I'll do it. I'm happy getting 1,000,002 in a tournament and then winning 5 tournaments in a row, I'm happy with that. It's okay. But if we're talking about making a better game, then we got to get a little bit closer to old Street Fighter 5 because I feel like Street Fighter 5
True
was an
though. True.
amazing
True.
Street Fighter by the end.
I agree. I agree.
But if we add some of the fun factor, the new mechanics,
It was
a
getting-
lot of
it
new
was getting
tools
better.
with the characters, better. I don't know, less confirms. It makes me engage with the resources. Like it's not gonna be Street Fighter 5. This game is more
Right.
fun, in my opinion. But we need to get a little bit
True.
closer to it, and
True.
add some of that neutral factor,
Truing.
some of that myth called neutral. We need it back. I think we need that back.
Well, I don't know
think
about that.
we no longer recognize it.
There's hints of it here and there. We see it when Punk's playing, for example. I get reminded of how things used to be, but it's definitely a different take on neutral for sure. And you see it a lot more with the younger players, which is it's inspiring in its own ways. When I watch players like Blas, Crime, Hanao, they clearly have like a different like DNA for the game. It's very different how they approach, and it's a little scary, but it's also inspiring. Like I see a different vision also, like the next level of how the game could be approached. So if it doesn't change back to be more Street Fighter 5 like, I think there's still beauty to be found. Like I still think.
I think so. Yeah, I'll
great things about the
kick
game.
into 9,000 damage too. Like it's there's some beauty in it too. Like there's something there.
Of course. Okay, let's get another question here. This is an interesting one from Dim Sum, I believe their name is pronounced. Has the Japanese community embraced Meta RD with open arms after beating Daigo? Is there any difference? So any change in perception after the Daigo first attempt that you felt?
Honestly, I'm not sure because I don't speak Japanese. I haven't been able to really, and even if I did, it's very hard to get what they actually feel, especially with a foreigner. Like, why would a random Japanese player who's been friends with Daigo 20 years is gonna suddenly open up to me and be like, you know what? This is how I feel about you beating Daigo. Like, it's hard to see it in this culture. But overall, my perception is, I think it's obvious how much I love Daigo. I think it's obvious how much I love Street Fighter. Because Daigo is Street Fighter, not because I love the guy.
True.
I don't know him, but to me, he represents the game, and I love the game so much and the FTC. So it's clear how much I love him, how much I respect him, and that the reason why I wanted to play, that was the main worry. Is this guy trying to farm Daigo? Is this guy just trying to get some clout, some more legacy? I don't think he can ever be replaced. I don't think I'm ever gonna be Daigo. I think I'm just Mena, a different kind of player. And the only way I could express that sincerely was through my game, was through my effort, was how I approached the actual match. And I feel like it was shown that it wasn't made with any bad intentions. It was more of something genuine that I wanted to do from the heart, and something that I still want to keep doing from the bottom of my heart. And I feel like that's it. So they were like, okay, at the end of the day, it's sad to see Daigo lose, but it is not necessarily a terrible thing. Like it means there's more players coming up, and it's more of a bro thing. I don't think it's a personal thing. I don't think it has to do with this. Didn't have to do a lot with me. This didn't have to do a lot with Mena. This was all about Daigo and what it meant if he won, what it meant if he lost.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I was just the guy that was there. The younger guy that
True.
beat the legend. It's not about Mena. It's just the younger guy that beat the legend. How do we react?
That's
to
what
that?
it seemed like.
That's how I feel about it. But personally, all I have seen, at least from me, is like, thank you for people thanking me. Like, thank you for approaching it with respect. Thank you for doing a good match. And I haven't felt any kind of animosity because of the match. Of course, if you go to the internet, there's people telling me, you monster, go back, or we'll kill you. You beat our goat. But this is not Japan exclusive. This is the internet. Outside of that, it's been way better than what I thought it would be. Honestly.
Internet's gonna be the internet. Usual.
Yeah, I think the respect that you showed for it came through very clear. Just the lead up, the messaging, even the body language, right? I think it was very clear to anyone watching, even through language barriers, that it meant so much to you to have that opportunity. So
people are gonna make up shit too.
I can imagine most people watching would understand that you understood the gravity of the situation and went about it very respectfully. So I'm happy to hear that you feel it's been a positive experience because it's something that could have gone wrong, and we saw that it did go wrong as well from the production standpoint, right? So it's something that
Yeah, that's true.
You could sense that
That
it's a
production
tightrope to
shot,
walk
oh
to
my
approach
God.
this, and I'm happy to hear you made it through.
That production was
mostly
crazy.
unscathed.
I do feel like, and this is not a knock on the Japanese community, I do feel like there was frustration and anger that Daigo lost, and it had to be directed somewhere. Be it the game, be it
Yeah.
Blanca, be it the matchup, be it
Like, it looked
me.
pretty bad though, the
I feel
production.
like it went towards the production. And even though it's
True,
true, like I
though.
won the set, I look up and I see Daigo on the screen. I'm like, oh,
It did seem like that.
somebody messed
Oh,
up.
no.
I know how much effort was put into it, and I know how everything transpired. And everyone that has met Rick knows how much love he has for the community and how much he sacrifices. And seeing him apologize on Twitter for something that so much effort on, like I was like, bro, this doesn't happen without this guy. And seeing him apologize on Twitter, and then people still going at him, oh, you never should do this again. It's like, man,
Yeah,
it
people are
felt
way
so
too
unfair
harsh.
to me.
It's crazy.
But I get it, but
People go
it
so
felt
overboard.
extremely unfair to me.
Like, it's crazy.
But I felt like it was mostly a result of. I feel like if Daigo had won and they put my video for 3 seconds or something else like that happens, the happiness of Daigo winning, nobody will care about this. But because he lost, and we're already in a pissy mood, how can you dare mess this up at this moment? And I understand that. But also that guy, like they really worked really hard, and so many things happened in the middle of the event, and we still went through with it. So yeah, like some things happened, but at least for me, that the production side of things, like they did try their best,
Right. Yeah, it's not an easy job, and obviously the expectations of the Kimono Michi name, the cultural expectations, there was a lot of difficult things to manage with that. Where they're
Yeah, for real,
essentially
He
planning
really seems like
potentially
it.
the end
I
of
love his
part of the
mannerisms,
Legend of
you know,
Daigo, right?
and his
It's
respect
no
for
easy feat, and
a lot of
so
the
there was
players.
an
I
unfortunate
think it's nice.
note at the end, I think, of the first of 10, but I feel like overall, when people look back, what do they remember? I think they remember Menardi versus Daigo. Daigo was awake. The beast awakened, and we got to see an amazing showdown. So I think overall, people will remember the set fondly in the end. With that, that's the Patreon question. So thank you guys at the Patreon for asking these questions. There's a couple more in there, but you tackled them all in great detail. I think they'll be satisfied with your answers on those. We're approaching the end of this one, man. I want to thank you again for you spending the time on this podcast. Another 2 hours flew by like nothing. I promise you this one will be more focused and short.
I love it. Part 3, let's do 4 hours. I love it.
Okay, great to hear it. While we're approaching the end of this, I guess my question to you would be, how do you view your legacy as a competitor, an ambassador for Street Fighter, and where do you think this goes from here? You're coming up on nearly the 10th anniversary of your first Capcom Cup, which it doesn't feel that long ago to me because I'm a crusty old man these days. Like, that feels like it was yesterday. I was in that venue watching you win that, and since then you've accomplished so much. Where do you feel it goes from here? What's next on the horizon, and even beyond competition? Like, where do you think this goes?
I think that's defined from the position that I'm in. The more I keep growing, the more my position changes, the more it demands of things that I have to do. So what does the best player in the world have to do to improve the community? What does the player that's going to Japan and representing the West, what does he have to do to open more doors for other communities? Like, all of that comes with the position, not necessarily for me personally, and it's something that I'm adjusting to. It's like, okay, I have to think about this. What's the best way to go about things to open more opportunities for other people? Because my main goal right now is to expand the momentum and the boom that's happening in Japan,
Yeah,
to bring it to the rest of the world, especially
Nice,
my
yeah,
region,
W.
America, in Latin America.
We need to bring it to
Um,
NA somehow.
But
Like, it's just not respected as a sport
personally,
in
for
NA.
me,
It's really bad.
my legacy, I
don't know
feel
if it
like that's something
will.
I want to look after it's done. I feel like judging the legacy while it's going, it's a little bit hard. It can feel like, oh, I'm definitely the best ever, you know, like what I'm doing at 26, or it can look like I don't have enough time. You know, like it's
I hope
kind
it
of
won't.
worthless to try to look at it right now, when it's not over, when the whole thing is finished, then for sure I'll look at my legacy and be like, what did it all mean? You know, how does it all look? But to me, the main goal right now, it's really simple, and is just keep going. I feel like I don't want to get overwhelmed by following goals and following, oh, I need to win this and I need to do that next, and then after I'm done competing in Street Fighter, I'll play in another game, and after I'm done with another game, I'll be Justin Wong and I'll turn into a personality in my content. And I feel like the most important thing for me, and what the community needs me to do the most, is to keep going. It's very easy
Yeah.
to see with the amount of money that's happening right in tournaments that they're giving out, with the amount of playing that we're all doing, to see people burned out, see people grow out of fighting
Yeah.
games and retire early. We've seen it a lot
Yeah.
lately, and I feel like the most important thing for me is to not do that. Is to stay
Yeah, be a
and
pillar. Be a pillar in the
keep
community
playing,
for
keep
sure.
playing Street Fighter, keep competing, keep having a good time, and keep showing my face around here, because showing my
You
face
could do it
around
this
might be
too, you know?
the inspiration for people to go
It's
to
good
a
for the
tournament. I
scene.
want to meet Mena, or I want to play
Yeah.
Mena. I think that's my responsibility. Just keep going and keep playing. And that's what I want to focus on. And whatever makes me feel that love for the game, be it going to Japan or going to whatever, playing X character, challenging whoever, if that's what keeps my passion alive, that's what I will do. So I feel like that's what I have to take care of.
W.
Amazing. Well, I
Yeah.
just want to say on behalf of the entire community, thank you very much for what you do, not just for inspiring us in the game, but for being an incredible ambassador for the community.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think we are very lucky to have someone like yourself representing us on the global stage. So
Very
thank
inspirational,
you.
though.
And thank you again for
W
hopping on
video.
the show. This was an amazing conversation. The 2 hours flew by like nothing. And that's about it. Any final words for the people that you want to share before we close this out?
Oh, the words, I'll give them to you, man. Keep doing this. I feel like you don't do enough. You do so much. You work so hard, and you upload so much content. But to me, selfishly, I'm like, I'm not seeing enough Brian F. I watched the trash talk. I watched Item complaining about the game. I watch everything, like all the dynamics. I really enjoy it, and I want to see you also keep going and keep putting the content out. That you're one of the guys that I enjoy watching the most when I'm not playing. And to me, it's a big honor being here. Like I know we don't talk much, but there's a lot of I really enjoy what you do. There's a lot of respect, and keep working, man. You know, keep going crazy.
Thank you, man. I could use that. Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll continue to keep working over here. All right. That's all we got. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Take care. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Trash Talk. And man, what a conversation. I'm always impressed with Mena RD's ability to wield language. He's both very eloquent but cutthroat.
Yeah.
His candor is refreshing. He's extremely upfront with his honesty and doesn't mince his words. But at the same time, he's very empathetic to those around him. And it's a very interesting dynamic to see such a dominant competitive force wield and use that empathy to destroy his opponents at the same time. Of course, I also want to thank you, the audience, for supporting this show. If it wasn't for people like you who made it to the end of these episodes, and for people who do things like head over to brianf.shop to check out some merch, I'm rocking the Hajoken design right now, but there's other great designs on there, both Trash Talk and Extra Trashy related, and other custom merch as well that helps support this show and helps pay for our great editors like Nuji Boy, who did a great job with this episode. You guys make this show possible. And if you're watching on the video feed on YouTube or Spotify, which I hope you saw the video, the intro is a banger on this one. You're going to be seeing the names of our Patreon supporters scrolling by on the screen right now. These supporters over at patreon.com/Brian_F had early access to this episode you're watching right now. There's other perks as well, like getting to see any cut content, behind the scenes updates, and even getting your questions asked to our guests on future episodes. I'd also like to personally thank our landfill members, of course, Bryce Scatterfield, Kamar,
That's
Sister
Keating,
Spallis,
that vote him.
Chris FK, Chuckle Chuck, Dimsium, Doc Fugu, SBO, Flawless Victory, Frozzy, Geen Drive, Massive Artist Fan, Scott Richards, 6 Mil, Smoking Seabass, and Wizzy West Side. Thank you again.
versus online. Ranked match. Practice. Combo tries. Awesome.
You gods. You gods.
It's been going well. Just been getting used to getting better execution on inputs.
You go. You gods.
Here comes
Oh my god,
a
Brain's
new
actually working.
challenger. Round one. Fight.
You gods. You gods. You can fight. You can fight. You can. Koki. You gods. You gods. You gods. You can fight. You can fight. You can fight.
Round two. Fight.
You can fight. You can
Oh my Brian. What is he doing?
Yoga come. Yoga come. Yoga come. Yoga fight. Yoga come. Yoga fight.
Nice.
Final round. Fight.
Yoga fight. Yoga fight. Yoga fight.
I'm done. I died. I hate this game.
Akuma win. Round one. Fight.
You gods. You can fight.
Oh my god, that's not what I wanted.
Round two. Fight.
You can fight. You can. なんと。
Oh my god.
You can fight. You can fight.
If I do a light kick, can I counter drive impact? It didn't look like I could. I thought my light kick was non-committal to where I could.
You can fight. You can come.
Nah, it's no way. No way. No way. That's not the move I wanted. I wanted the down one that would have went under the fireball. And
You gods. You gods. You will go. You gods. You gods. You gods. You gods.
Why do I get air codes so often, Chum? I'm on worldwide 4 to 5 crossplay enabled. Ranked matches off. I don't know why. Oh wait, they got turned off when the matchmaking broke. That's right. But I get a lot of connection errors. I don't know.
始めるとしよう。
待ってたよ。
Round one.
I've never seen this character before in my life. Besides Street Fighter 4. It's over.
Yoga free. Yoga free. Yoga fight.
No way.
Yoga fight.
ありがとう。いいジョーゴだったね。
Round two. Fight.
Yoga fight.
This character has a lot of fake crosses. Fake looking. I messed up, GG. Oh my god, I thought I grabbed her.
Yoga fight. Yoga
Oh, GG, I'm done.
Yoga fire. Yoga fire. Yoga fire.
I want to grab there.
Elena wins. Round one. Fight.
Yoga fight. Yoga fight.
Round two. Fight.
Just send me.
Yoga. Yoga fight. Yoga fight. Yoga. Yoga.
Oh my. That is not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted.
Yoga fight. Yoga fight. Yoga fire. Yoga fire.
Okay, she can just go under everything in the world.
Elena wins.
The more you know.
Yoga come. Yoga come. Yoga. 始めるとしよう。実に光栄です。
Round one. Fight.
Yoga, fire! Yoga, fire! Yoga, Yoga,
I gotta stop messing up my inputs. What am I doing? Should've just slow fireball. I should double poison. Can I duck that? What do I do against that? I tried to TP that time.
Round two. Fight.
Bro, I counter grabbed that low. Bro, what do I do against this fucking... What the...
JP wins.
Appreciate the watch streak, by the way, Furry. Good point indeed. Appreciate. I can't slide under it? What do you mean I can't slide under it? Do I need like an actual grab bind? Holy moly. It looks really negative.
Round two. Fight.
Where's my bouncing fireball? It's for the EX. I still hate this game.
JP wins. Here comes a new challenger.
始めると
Round one. Fight.
All my HP is gone already. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god. Man. Bro, I'm playing the wrong zoning character. I'm playing the wrong zoning character.
見よこの鋼の肉体や
Round two. Fight. Final round. Fight.
Okay, that goes full screen. Chad, you didn't tell me that goes full screen. I never get my grab off. Oh, mother. I need grab button. Oh my god.
Dawson wins. Round one. Fight.
Okay. Yoga fire. Yoga. Oh my god. This fucking jab is insane. Why is this jab insane?
Round two. Fight.
Okay. Can they just make driving attack cost 3 bars?
Zongia wins. Round one. Fight.
Oh my god.
Round two. Fight.
Bro, Zangief seems like the easiest character I've ever seen in my life.
Zongia wins.
Help. I'm getting cancer. And that's it.